Chapter 305. As the saying goes, happiness can come crashing down on your head without you even realizing it. The moment the door opened, Ruan Qingshuang saw Su Yin among the 7 people. Dad! Guogua excitedly rushed out of Ruan Qingshuang's arms. But soon, she noticed that Su Yin was tied up with multiple layers of chains just like Ruan Qingshuang. She quickly realized that this was definitely not a surprise created by Uncle Chao. Chao Nanshan strode in front of Guogua and pushed Guogua back. Guogua staggered back a few steps. If it wasn't for Ruan Qingshuang hurriedly holding her in her arms, Guogua would have fallen to the ground. Guogua, who had never been bullied, was furious. She put her hands on her waist and wanted to argue with Chao Nanshan. But as soon as she turned around, Chao Nanshan pointed the gun at her. Ruan Qingshuang pulled Guogua into her arms. She was really afraid of scaring Guogua. Ever since she met Su Yin, Ruan Qingshuang went from being scared of hooligans to being able to face a gun calmly. Her psychological endurance had improved by leaps and bounds. Chao Nanshan, you better be careful. Su Yin's heart thumped. It was too dangerous. What if the gun accidentally went off? If something happened to Guogua and Ruan Qingshuang in front of him, then it would be impossible for him to suppress the evil in his heart. If there's anything, come at me. Don't scare the children. Chao Nanshan snorted and looked back at Su Yin and the others. Su Yin, why don't you take a look at yourself? You're already like this. What right do you have to threaten me? As long as I hand you over to Green Ghost, he'll pull out your tendons and skin you alive. You still have the heart to care about others? Ha ha ha. Are you afraid that the gun will go off accidentally? That's hard to say. But if the gun goes off accidentally, there's no chance of it jamming. So it's very dangerous. You better behave yourself. Otherwise, I'll definitely make you regret it. Chao Nanshan said as he aimed the gun at Guogua, who was in Ruan Qingshuang's arms. A nameless anger began to burn in Su Yin's heart. One had to know that the gun was powerful enough to pierce through 2 people. If Chao Nanshan was careless, the consequences would be unimaginable. Thus, Su Yin tried his best to suppress his emotions. He knew that the more he made Chao Nanshan feel that he was in control of everything, the safer Guogua and Ruan Qingshuang would be. Chao Nanshan, I know what you want to do. As long as you hand me over to Green Ghost, you'll be able to make a great contribution to Green Ghost. Release all of them. I'll definitely cooperate with you. Chao Nanshan shook his head and said coldly, don't order me around. Don't command me. What right do you have to say this to me now? Su Yin, I know you're an expert, but so what? I only need to move my fingers. Whose head is harder than a bullet? I didn't expect Master Chao to use such despicable methods, Wu Yuandong said coldly. Wu Yuandong said coldly, I still remember the first time I heard people talk about Chao Nanshan. They said that you were the second Feng Qiansui of Suang. Even after Feng Qiansui passed away, Suang would still be supported by you, Master Chao. But looking at it now, those people really thought too highly of you. How could a despicable person support the world? How laughable. Ma Baori heard Wu Yuandong humiliate Chao Nanshan and raised his arm to hit the back of Wu Yuandong's head. Shut up. You don't have the right to speak in front of Master Chao. Chao Nanshan didn't care. He looked up and laughed. Ha 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 ha. Good, well said. I'm despicable, but so what? I'm despicable, but I'm not like Old Man Feng, whose life and death are unknown. At least I'm still alive. At least I have a chance to stand in front of you. At least I can fight with Green Ghost for Su Hang. Chao Nanshan, was it because of you that Green Ghost was able to sneak into the lakeside area in the middle of the night? Chou Yin seemed to have suddenly understood something. She glared at Chao Nanshan with her almond-shaped eyes. Chao Nanshan's words gave her a strange feeling. If Green Ghost hadn't secretly done something that day, it wouldn't have been so easy to take down the Feng family. As soon as he said this, the atmosphere suddenly became heavy and quiet. Chao Nanshan was startled. In the end he said, since things have come to this, I have nothing to hide. Green Ghost was able to get Su Hang today, because of me. That day he was able to take down the Feng family because of him and me. In fact, I always thought that you guys should have figured it out long ago, but I didn't think that Feng Qiansui didn't suspect me and thought that I had nothing to do with this. How laughable. Think about it. If I had nothing to do with Green Ghost, why would I be able to sit back and relax when the Feng family is like this? Hearing Chao Nanshan's words, Cho Yun's brows became cold. At the beginning, she had warned Feng Qiansui not to trust anyone too much. However, Feng Qiansui didn't suspect Chao Nanshan. He had always said that Chao Nanshan had received so many favors from him. If Chao Nanshan still wanted to harm him, he would be punished by the heavens. Therefore, Chao Nanshan definitely wouldn't be disloyal to him. Cho Yun had never suspected anything. Even in the end, she only felt that Chao Nanshan was at most not doing anything. She had never suspected that he was colluding with Green Ghost. I betrayed Feng Qiansui. But no one knew. No one believed that I would collude with Green Ghost. Ha 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 ha. I'm afraid even Feng Qiansui himself wouldn't believe it. So I did it. I helped Green Ghost successfully eliminate all the Feng family's forces in Suhang. As the saying goes, know yourself and know your enemy. It's because I told Green Ghost everything about the Feng family that Green Ghost was able to take down Suhang so smoothly. At this point, Chao Nanshan seemed to be a little agitated. Green Ghost promised me that if he took down Suhang, we could split Suhang equally. He took the south of West Lake, and I took the north of West Lake. But he doesn't admit it now. He wants to take Suhang alone, and wants me to continue to listen to him like I listened to Feng Qiansui. I was deceived. Do you know that? I want to take back Suhang. Cho Yun clenched her fists until her knuckles cracked. Chao Nanshan, aren't you afraid of being punished by the heavens for doing this? Heavenly punishment? If the heavens really have eyes, they wouldn't let Green Ghost take over Feng Qiansui's position. Chao Nanshan sneered and said, ever since Green Ghost took over Suhang, I understood a principle. Good people don't live long, but scourges live for 1,000 years. Feng Qiansui was highly respected in Suhang, but what benefits did he leave behind? His son and daughter all died an unnatural death. He didn't have a good ending in his old age, and only left behind such a pitiful granddaughter. Humph. So what if he's a good person? Why should I be a good person? Why can a person like Green Ghost lead Suhang? If there's really divine punishment, it's Green Ghost, not me, Chao Nanshan. Guogua widened her innocent eyes. Her eyes were already filled with tears. She didn't understand why Uncle Chao was doing this. At Guogua's age, she could already understand these words. Chao Nanshan's words completely overturned Guogua's view of this world. Uncle Chao, didn't you always say that you were promoted by my grandfather? Then why are you still treating him like this? Chao Nanshan glanced at Guogua. His next words shocked Guogua to the point that she couldn't take it. Then do you know why your grandfather thinks so highly of me? Do you know why your grandfather promoted me so much all these years? Because he doesn't have a son, do you understand? His son is your father. Do you know how your father died? Ha. Since I've said so much today, I might as well say one more thing. Guogua, your father and your aunt were actually caused by me. Guogua was stunned. At her age, she couldn't take this kind of blow. She didn't have any impression of her parents and aunt since she was young. It wasn't that she hadn't asked her parents, but her grandfather only told her that after she was born, her parents went to a faraway place to do something very important, so they couldn't be by Guogua's side. Although Guogua became more and more convinced of this lie, Guogua had never thought that her parents had left this world. To be honest, for a 6 or 7-year-old child, Guogua had always hated her parents. She felt that her parents had never been by her side, so she hated them. But sometimes Guogua would miss them and want to know what they looked like. Because after they died in the explosion, Feng Qiansui hid all their photos in a place where Guogua couldn't find. So Guogua didn't even have the chance to know what her parents looked like. As Guogua grew up, Guogua did suspect that her parents were gone, but she didn't think about the worst possibility. This was the first time Guogua heard that her parents had left forever, and would never come back to see her. Although Guogua could accept this reality, after all, she hadn't seen her parents for so many years. But when it was really mentioned, Guogua still didn't want to hear it. Because if she knew, she wouldn't have any hope of seeing her parents again. Why did Guogua rely so much on Ruan Qingshuang and Su Yun? Because Guogua had already treated them as her parents. She didn't want to hear about her biological parents. Cho Yun suddenly shouted, Chao Nanshan. What nonsense are you talking about? Guogua, your parents and aunt went to a faraway place to do research. They will come back to see you one day. Obviously, in front of Chao Nanshan's words, Cho Yun's explanation was really far-fetched. Let alone Guogua, even Su Yun, Ruan Qingshuang, Ling Jiling, and Wu Yuandong didn't believe it. No parents would be willing to leave their newborn child at home to do research. Even the people working in the space station couldn't not come back to see their child for 6 or 7 years. Chapter 306. Cho Yun, do you think Guogua is still a 3-year-old child? Do you think she will still believe your lies? She has the right to know the truth. Chao Nanshan continued to speak to Guogua coldly. Your aunt was the famous celebrity Feng Ying a few years ago. When she was filming, your father Feng Yifei and your mother Qin Tingyi, who was known as Jiangnan's #1 model, carried you to the set to give your aunt shark fin soup. In the end, boom. When the prop team was setting up the effect bomb, it suddenly exploded, and the whole studio was on fire. No one expected that the prop bomb would become a real bomb. And it was so powerful. The incident shocked the whole country. Everyone in the set, including those who went to visit the set, died. The only one who survived was the child in Jiangnan's #1 model Qin Tingyi's arms. Guogua, you are so lucky. That child was you. Guogua was indeed much stronger than the average child. Even though Chao Nanshan had said so many things that a child of her age would not be able to accept, Guogua still held back the tears in her eyes. She did not cry. Although Guogua was very sad, she insisted on not crying. If she cried and made a scene at this time, wouldn't she be a burden to everyone? As for whether Chao Nanshan was telling the truth, only Cho Yun knew. Cho Yun was now sure that Chao Nanshan was the mastermind of that incident. Because after that incident, Feng Qiansui didn't tell anyone the truth of the matter. Only Feng Qiansui and Cho Yun knew about it. Everyone else was kept in the dark. Since Chao Nanshan was able to explain it in such detail, there was only one possibility. He was the one who planned it. Chao Nanshan, why did you do that? Do you still have a conscience? Cho Yun did not expect that the low-key Chao Nanshan in her eyes would be so cruel. She really could not accept this reality. Why did I do that? Didn't you say that I was despicable? If you want to blame someone, then you can only blame Feng Qiansui for being too good to me. He has always promoted me. He said that he admires me. He said that if he didn't have a son, he would definitely choose me as the successor of Suang. Chao Nanshan let go of everything and said the things that had been suppressed in his heart for many years. That's why I know that Feng Yifei is my biggest enemy. If Feng Yifei dies, then Feng Qiansui will give Su Heng to me after he abdicates. Do you understand? So it wasn't me who wanted to kill Feng Yifei. It was Feng Qiansui who forced me to kill him. If I didn't kill Feng Yifei, I wouldn't be where I am today. Don't blame me. Cho Yun squeezed out 3 words from her lips. You deserve to die. Chao Nanshan snorted. I deserve to die? But I didn't die. Who let me die? Do you know why I betrayed Feng Qiansui? Because he didn't do what he promised me. He said that if he didn't have a son, he would choose me as his successor. But he has been promoting other young people. I know that if I don't do something, then his successor will never be me. Do you understand me? I'm very conflicted. I'm already in my 50s. If I can't take over Suang from Feng Qiansui's hands, then I'm destined to only have this little achievement in my life. Then have you ever thought that if it wasn't for Feng Qiansui, you wouldn't even have this little achievement? Cho Yun screamed hysterically. Chao Nanshan, I finally understand what it means to be a man who is never content is like a snake trying to swallow an elephant. You are the snake that the farmer saved in his arms. Repaying kindness with evil. People like you deserve to be struck by lightning. Chao Nanshan sneered. He didn't care about Cho Yun's hysterical roar. He looked at Guogua and said in a low voice, Guogua, do you hate Uncle Chao very much? But there's nothing you can do even if you hate me. It's too late. If you want to blame someone, blame your grandpa. He's the one who caused all of this. Chao Nanshan, you're despicable. Shut the hell up. Why are you telling Guogua this? Guogua is just a child. Cho Yun struggled to break free, but she was tied up too tightly. There was no chance for her to break free. Su Yun couldn't bear it anymore. Chao Nanshan, don't force me. I said that you'll give me to Green Ghost. Let them all go now. I also said that you can't order me. I can give all of you to Green Ghost now. What can you do? Are you going to bite me? Chao Nanshan snorted. But I won't give you to Green Ghost. I'll make sure he can't find you. I'll make him worry forever. Who told him to go back on his words? From today onwards, you'll all stay here in pain forever. I'm not in pain at all. This childish voice sounded very comfortable in this atmosphere. Guogua raised her determined face and looked at Chao Nanshan. She confirmed again. I'm not in pain at all. I don't hate you at all. I have a father and a mother. I love them and they love me. Guogua looked at Su Yin and hugged Ruanqing Shuang. I don't feel sorry for myself at all. Instead, I feel sorry for you. Only a person without love is pitiful. My grandpa was so good to you, but you did this. Uncle Chao, I think you're the pitiful one. I pity you. What did you say? Chao Nanshan glared. You pity me? Yes, I pity you. I have something to tell you. Do you dare to listen? Guogua wasn't afraid of Chao Nanshan at all. Perhaps it was true that a newborn calf wasn't afraid of a tiger. Even Ling Jiling didn't dare to face Chao Nanshan, but Guogua wasn't afraid at all. Chao Nanshan looked at the little girl in front of him in shock. He couldn't believe that a 6 or 7-year-old girl dared to talk to him like that. He even told her that he killed her parents. What do you want to tell me? Chao Nanshan couldn't hide his shock. I almost killed you. Don't you hate me? Aren't you afraid of me? Guogua didn't avoid Chao Nanshan's gaze. I'm not afraid of you because I didn't do anything wrong. You're the one who should be afraid. You did something wrong. Are you afraid of me? Is that why you don't dare to listen to me? I'm afraid of you. Chao Nanshan raised his head and laughed. Ha 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 ha, little girl. Why would I be afraid of you? So what if I've done something wrong? I've done a lot of bad things in my life. How come I've never felt afraid? Come, I want to hear what you have to say that will make me afraid. Ha ha ha, say it, say it. I'm listening. Chao Nanshan lowered his body and put his ear next to Guogua's mouth. I'm so scared. Say it. Guogua smiled. Uncle Chao, you'll definitely be scared. Chao Nanshan was stunned. He didn't understand how a child could be so confident to make him afraid. Threaten? Intimidate? These weren't things a child could think of, right? However, just as Chao Nanshan was feeling puzzled, he felt his hand loosen. Then, Guogua pushed him to squat on the ground. To prevent himself from embarrassing himself, Chao Nanshan hurriedly placed his hands on the ground. Beads of sweat the size of beans appeared on Chao Nanshan's forehead as soon as he tried to hold himself up. Where's the gun in my hand? When Chao Nanshan came back to his senses, he realized that Guogua was trying her best to hold the heavy revolver with both hands. She slowly retreated to Ruanqing Shuang's side and aimed at Chao Nanshan. Uncle Chao, I said you'd be scared. Why, are you scared now? Although Chao Nanshan was indeed a little scared, he didn't think a child would dare to shoot. He quickly recovered his composure. Guogua, children shouldn't play with guns. Give it back to me. Stop. Guogua shouted. Suddenly, she aimed the gun at Chao Nanshan's feet and pulled the trigger. However, the gun didn't make a sound. Guogua didn't really want to kill anyone. She just wanted to threaten Chao Nanshan. Unexpectedly, she couldn't pull the trigger. It was normal for a 6 or 7-year-old child to not know how to play with a gun. Chao Nanshan immediately let out a sigh of relief. It was impossible for this little girl to know the safety of a revolver. Just when everyone was rejoicing that Guogua didn't shoot to kill, Su Yin said, Guogua, the safety of a revolver is usually on the trigger. When you pull the trigger, you can feel an obvious excessive force. That's the safety. It's commonly known as 1 fire, 2 fires. It's also known as a double-action trigger. If you used a little more force just now, you would be able to shoot the bullet. Everyone was shocked by Su Yun's words, including Ruanqing Shuang and Qiu Yun. They didn't understand why Su Yun would teach a child how to use a gun. If Guogua really killed Chao Nanshan, it would be a shadow in her life. However, Su Yin understood Guogua. She was smart enough to use her identity as a child to make Chao Nanshan lower his guard. Then she snatched the weapon from his hand. Guogua's mind was obviously not at the level of a 6 or 7-year-old child. Therefore, Su Yin was sure that Guogua wouldn't really shoot. She knew what it meant to show off. She wanted to shoot just now to show off. Sure enough, after Su Yin's verbal instruction, Guogua immediately pulled the trigger. With a bang, the muzzle of the M500 revolver, which was also known as a hand cannon, emitted a huge flame. A bullet was shot out and exploded directly at Chao Nanshan's feet. The huge recoil also hurt Guogua's hand. Her young and tender hands didn't have enough strength to control the gun. After firing one shot, Guogua regretted it. It turned out that shooting was not fun at all. Guogua's shooting shocked everyone. Not only the enemy, but also their own people. The only one who could keep a clear head was Su Yin. Su Yin made a prompt decision, and quickly rushed in front of Guogua. Su Yin turned around and half knelt on the ground. He said to Guogua, "Open it for Daddy. Use the gun. Hit the joint of the steel chain." Chapter 307. Su Yin knew very well how risky it was for him to do so. After all, Guogua was a child. She did not have as much control over guns as an adult. After firing that shot, she was a little scared herself. The M500 revolver was too powerful. Perhaps this gun was not as famous as the Desert Eagle, so it could be compared to the Desert Eagle. Even those who had only played gunplay games should know the power of the Desert Eagle. The M500 was twice as powerful as the Desert Eagle, so the muzzle flare was bigger than the Desert Eagle's. Anyone with a bit of common sense would know that if there was a sudden flash of light in a dark environment, there would be a residual image on the retina. Therefore, Guogua was basically still recovering her vision. Speaking of power, one had to mention the recoil. Although the recoil of a revolver was not uncontrollable, everyone could do it after some practice and paying attention to some details. These shooting techniques were very simple, but Guogua was still a child. She had never practiced shooting before. Under the pressure of nervousness, many adults would forget to pay attention to certain details, let alone a child. In fact, when Su Yin was teaching Guogua how to fire the gun, he was also worried. His worry was different from others. He was not worried about whether Guogua would hurt Guogua. He was worried about whether the recoil of the revolver would hurt Guogua's wrist. This kind of extreme example existed. Su Yin had seen a person who shot an automatic Magnum V pistol and fractured his right wrist on the first shot. However, in practice, Su Yin knew that the recoil of a revolver was lower than that of a revolver. That was why he dared to let Guogua fire that shot. After the shot, Guogua's entire hand was in pain and numbness. She really wanted to throw the gun away. Now that she heard Su Yin asking her to shoot again, and to aim at the steel chain on his wrist, it was simply a joke. If it were not for the danger they were in, Guogua really wanted to ask him, "Are you filming a movie? Don't let your wrist be too soft. Keep it tight. Straighten your elbow and use your shoulder to absorb the recoil. Don't hold the bottom of the gun. Move the muzzle slightly to the right." Su Yin did not have time to let Guogua think too much. Once Chao Nanshan took the gun away from Guogua, they would not have a chance to fight back. He asked Guogua to move the muzzle slightly to ensure that the bullet would not hit her. At this time, Chao Nanshan also walked out of the shock of the shot. The first thing he did when he reacted was to take the gun back from Guogua. This little girl had already learned how to shoot. She was no longer someone he could ignore. Just as Chao Nanshan came back to his senses and was about to pounce on Guogua, another gunshot rang out. Sparks flew from the muzzle of the gun. Guogua didn't dare open her eyes to look again. She angrily fired a bullet at the steel chain that was tightly wrapped around Su Yin's wrist. Su Yin suddenly exerted force. With a bang, the steel chain on his wrist fell. Chao Nanshan originally wanted to attack Guogua, but when he saw this, he quickly turned around and wanted to escape the scene. Wu Yuandong happened to be on the side of Chao Nanshan's escape route. He lightly stretched out his leg, and Chao Nanshan fell flat on his face. "Master Chao." Di Jindiao saw this and quickly rushed forward. However, Ma Baori, Chao Nanshan's other right-hand man, turned around and ran away. He did not care about Chao Nanshan's life at all. In fact, if you want to know whether a subordinate is loyal to you, you only need to do one thing. Su Yin took the revolver from Guogua's hand and carried Guogua with one hand. Guoguo's nervous state of mind was relieved. She hugged Su Yun's neck and did not let go. After the revolver was in Su Yun's hand, Su Yun did not hold back. He raised his hand and pulled the trigger. Without hesitation, the bullet shot out and directly penetrated Chao Nanshan's knee. The moment Chao Nanshan's knee exploded with blood, Chao Nanshan grimaced in pain. Di Jindiao did not care about the pain from his broken arm and pounced on Chao Nanshan. He wanted to help his master make one last struggle. Su Yun did not shoot again. The M500 revolver was different from most 6-shot revolvers. It was a 5-shot double-action revolver. Su Yun kept the remaining 2 bullets for use. Ma Baori had already fled the scene. Now Chou Yun and Wu Yuandong were tied with steel chains that could not be untied by hand. Wu Yuandong and Chou Yun were smart people. When Su Yun did not shoot again, they understood Su Yun's intention. Wu Yuandong walked in front of Su Yun and turned around. Chou Yun followed closely behind. They all knew what they had to do. Su Yun casually pressed the muzzle of the gun against the steel chains on their wrists and easily broke the chains with 2 shots. After Chou Yun was rescued, she immediately helped Ling Jiling untie her hands that were tied by the rope. Ling Jiling rubbed her aching wrists. She had acted in movies with kidnapping scenes before. Now that she thought about it, if she were to act in a movie now, she would definitely be able to act more realistically. With real feelings, Ling Jiling realized that her state of mind at this moment was actually so panicked and helpless. Seeing that his opponents were all free, Chao Nanshan only had one thought, and that was to escape. However, his knee was shot, and he could not even stand up. The angry Chou Yun could no longer control her emotions. She rushed forward and wanted to settle the score with Chao Nanshan. The loyal Di Jindiao immediately stepped forward to stop her, but Wu Yuandong suddenly kicked him away. Wu Yuandong sneered and said, "Your opponent is me." Chao Nanshan, who no longer had anyone to rely on, finally understood what it meant to be terrified. He had said so many things that he should not have. He had said so many things that were enough to provoke Chou Yun into killing him. He regretted it so much. If he had known that something like this would happen, he would never have said those things that he shouldn't have, even if he were beaten to death. "I was just talking nonsense. Fox Supreme, let me explain." Chao Nanshan did not want to admit what he said just now. "It's not what you think. I was forced to do those things. I didn't have a choice." Chou Yun would not listen to his nonsense. She suddenly raised her leg and aimed it at Chao Nanshan's face. In an instant, Chao Nanshan's nose and mouth were bleeding. His nose was broken, and his front teeth were knocked out. Chou Yan's heart was burning with anger. She needed to vent her anger in order to untie the knot in her heart. The reason why the Feng family had fallen to such a state was all because of Chao Nanshan, that damned parasite. Feng Qiansui treated him like a junior and an old friend. If Feng Qiansui did not speak up in Su Hong's underground world, how could Chao Nanshan, who was so weak, step onto the stage of Su Hong's underground world? How could he recruit masters to work for him? How could he become the boss of Su Hong's top private club? It could be said that everything Chao Nanshan had was given to him by his friends in the underground world because of Feng Qiansui. However, Chao Nanshan was greedy. He planned to murder Guoguo's parents for more benefits and a higher status. Now he even colluded with Green Ghost to push the Feng family into the abyss. Thinking of Feng Qiansui, whose whereabouts were still unknown, Chou Yan's heart was filled with hatred. She suddenly grabbed Chao Nanshan's shoulders, her 10 fingers containing internal energy fiercely squeezing. A bone-chilling sound of bones cracking was heard from Chao Nanshan's shoulders. Chao Nanshan let out a miserable cry like a pig being slaughtered. Seeing Chao Nanshan being tortured, Di Jindiao could not bear to see it. He wanted to help his master. But now he couldn't even protect himself. He was weaker than Wu Yuandong to begin with, and he had lost an arm. Under Wu Yuandong's full attack, he didn't have any chance to fight back, let alone help Chao Nanshan. Chou Yun would not kill Chao Nanshan so easily. If she just killed him, it would be too easy for him. After breaking Chao Nanshan's shoulders, Chou Yun's 5 fingers formed a fist and hit Chao Nanshan's collarbone. Kacha! Ruan Qingxuang and Ling Jiling were scared silly when they saw and heard the sound. Guogua closed her eyes tightly and hugged Su Yun's neck. She knew that Cho Yun's sister would lose control. She did not want to see Cho Yun's sister being so cruel. However, Guogua did not want to stop it. Although she knew that if she stopped it, she would stop Cho Yun from being so cruel. But Guogua did not want to stop it. Although Guogua herself felt that it was very cruel, but Guogua could not be so magnanimous. She could not punish the bastard who killed her loved one. Su Yun watched coldly as Chao Nanshan was tortured by Cho Yun. Cho Yun used the cruelest method to break all the bones in Chao Nanshan's body. She did not let him die, but she turned him into a cripple who would twitch in pain just by breathing. Su Yun felt Guogua's small body tremble from time to time. He could not imagine how such a small child could be so strong. Guogua did not even cry from the beginning to the end. This girl was very similar to him when he was young. No matter how much pain or grievance she encountered, she would stuff it into her heart and slowly digest it. Some things were innate, such as stubbornness. Guogua was such a stubborn child. Even in this kind of situation, she would stubbornly force herself to be strong. Similarly, Su Yun was also a stubborn person. His master Wang Yi and godfather Zhang Taisui could not understand his stubbornness when he was young. He had always been so stubborn as he grew up, and Guogua would also grow up stubbornly like him. Finally, Cho Yun used up her last bit of strength on Chao Nanshan, and Chao Nanshan became the most crippled person in history. Wu Yuandong also easily dealt with the one-armed Di Jindiao. Di Jindiao had done everything he could, but he was not as strong as Wu Yuandong. He was powerless to save Chao Nanshan. Let's go. Wu Yuandong was a bit worried. If we don't leave now, I'm afraid that the guy who just left will attract Green Ghost. Cho Yun calmly looked at Su Yun. She listened to Su Yun's arrangements. Su Yun was indeed hesitating whether to leave or not. He really hoped that Ma Baori would attract Green Ghost. At worst, he would join forces with Cho Yun and Wu Yuandong to fight Green Ghost. But looking at Ruan Qingxuang, Guogua, and Ling Zhiling behind him, if they lost, what would they do? Chapter 308. When Green Ghost arrived at the Qing Club under Ma Baori's lead, everything was over. Su Yun and the others were already on the highway heading back to Jibei. Because Tang Huabin was also under the rule of the video, no one could order the road to be closed. Now not only the highway, but all the intersections in and out of Suang were finally free of traffic. Green Ghost, who was attacked by one thing after another, was so angry that he wanted to spit out blood again. He didn't even need to think to know why Chao Nanshan didn't directly send Feng Guogua to him after capturing her. Green Ghost knew that Chao Nanshan also knew the importance of Guogua. Only by getting Guogua could they truly get what they wanted. If they couldn't capture this child, then everything would be nonsense. He, Green Ghost, would never be able to truly establish his foothold in Suang. Clearly, Chao Nanshan didn't directly send Guogua to Green Ghost after capturing her, because he also wanted that thing. Only the person who had Guogua could get that thing. Wang Ruping and Tang Huabin's betrayal had already made Green Ghost furious. Now Chao Nanshan actually wanted to betray him. How could Green Ghost accept this? Green Ghost stepped on the half-dead Chao Nanshan's face and said coldly, "Even if you can control that child, you can't reach the top of Suang. The underground world is a world where the strong prey on the weak. You can only be a dog in this world. You want to be a master? Impossible." Chao Nanshan was already tortured by the pain all over his body. Now that he was stepped on by Green Ghost, he didn't feel any humiliation at all. Chao Nanshan, whose bones were all crushed by Cho Yun, knew his fate. He could never live like a human. He was now a walking corpse. He didn't ask for anything else but death to end his pain. "I beg you, kill me." "Kill you?" Green Ghost kicked Chao Nanshan a few meters away. Chao Nanshan's crippled body rolled a few times on the ground before stopping. "Killing you would be letting you off too easily. Do you know how much you've ruined for me? Die. In your dreams." Chao Nanshan's only wish was to die. If he continued to live like this, he would have to experience what it meant to be worse than death. "I'll leave this person to you. If he dies, you don't need to live either." Green Ghost coldly glared at Ma Baori. Ma Baori's expression changed. He looked at Green Ghost in panic and said, Master Green, he's already like this. He won't be able to live for more than a few days. What do you want me to do? Green Ghost didn't want the person who betrayed him to die so easily. Letting Chao Nanshan suffer another day of torture was also a punishment for him. I don't care what you do, you have to let him live. If he can't eat or drink, you can feed him. Even if he can't move, you can serve him. Ma Baori didn't have the time to serve a cripple. Master Qing, what if he insists on going on a hunger strike? Then chew it up and stuff it into his mouth. I'll say it again. I don't care what you do. Even if you use a tube to feed him, you have to let him live like this. Green Ghost was too lazy to talk nonsense with Ma Baori. If he dies, I'll kill you. Do you understand? Yes. Yes. Ma Baori was filled with regret. He thought that after informing Green Ghost, he would be able to replace Chao Nanshan. He didn't expect such a disgusting thing to happen. This made him feel extremely regretful. Green Ghost, who had nowhere to vent his anger, suddenly slapped a 30-year-old cypress tree beside him. The huge tree trunk fell to the ground with a loud bang. The wooden house that Ruan Qingshuang and Guogua were locked up an hour ago collapsed. Green Ghost calculated the time, and knew that there was nothing he could do. It was impossible for him to catch up with Su Yun and the others. The success that was within his reach had slipped away. As long as he didn't catch Guogua, everything he did was meaningless. Before Green Ghost left, he glanced at Chao Nanshan, who was struggling at death's door. This wasn't a bad thing for him. At least, there was one less person who knew about the child's secret. However, if he couldn't get this child, it was meaningless even if he had that thing. Green Ghost originally thought that he would stabilize the situation in Swang before catching Cho Yun and Guogua. However, he didn't expect that his negligence would cause him to lose everything. Although he was the underground leader in Swang, he had become a general without an army. Not only were his subordinates dead, but his right-hand man in the underground world, Chao Nanshan, was also crippled. Wang Ruping and Tang Huabin, who he controlled on the surface, were also imprisoned. What could be worse than him, Green Ghost? The most important thing was, how was he going to explain it to Hades Lung Chen? It didn't matter that Su Yun had killed more than 30 people, but Jin Xiao from the Yen sect had also died in Su Yun's hands. Green Ghost couldn't explain it to Lung Chen at all. When Lung Chen lent Jin Xiao to him, he told him personally that Jin Xiao could only survive by borrowing someone else's body. The reason why he used such a thin and weak body was because everything in this body could fuse well with his surviving organs. However, this body was too weak, so Jin Xiao could only have the strength of a super master now. He couldn't reach the state of a master at all. Therefore, Lung Chen lent Jin Xiao to him not only to help him, but also to let Jin Xiao have a place to hide. He wanted to find a stronger body that was suitable for Jin Xiao's blood type. Only then would he let Ghost Dr. Peng Juanda perform the transplant operation on Jin Xiao again. When Jin Xiao recovered his strength of the state of a master, he would be a powerful long-range firepower under Hades's command. Therefore, although Lung Chen arranged Jin Xiao to be with Green Ghost, he didn't just let Green Ghost use him. He also let Green Ghost protect Jin Xiao's body at the same time. The powerful attack of the Yen sect's flying dagger was very important to Hades, so he tried everything to let Ghost Dr. Peng Juanda perform such a terrifying operation on him. Jin Xiao's original body had been completely destroyed by Jin Guoyi, but Peng Juanda used hundreds of days to transplant the surviving organs and head from Jin Xiao's body to his current body. It was shocking to hear about it. Now that Green Ghost had 8 lifetimes of bad luck and Jin Xiao had died in his hands, he really didn't dare to face Lung Chen. But if he thought about it carefully, maybe Lung Chen would be furious because Su Yun killed Jin Xiao. At that time, even if Su Yun had wings, it would be difficult for him to fly to the sky. Hades would never let him go. However, before that, Green Ghost still hoped to get Guogua through his own means. If Hades was angry, he wouldn't have the chance to get Guogua to finish his unfinished business. Anyway, the incident in Swang had happened. What should have happened had happened. There was no way to end it like this. What Green Ghost needed to do now was to find a way to explain it to Hades. After Green Ghost left the Qing Club, Ma Baori's heart finally settled down. He coldly walked back to Chao Nanshan's side and kicked him. "Grandpa Chao, why didn't you just die just now? You're already like this and you still want to implicate me. After I followed you, I didn't get any benefits at all. I only suffered because of you. Chao Nanshan didn't want to say anything, but when he saw his subordinates treat him like this, he also had evil thoughts. He gasped with his last strength and said, Ma Baori, you should have heard what Green Ghost said. As long as I die, he will take your life. So you'd better take good care of me. Take care of you? Chao Nanshan, are you kidding? Do you really think that just because I call you Master Chao, you're really a master? Why don't you take a piss and look at yourself in the mirror? Ma Baori was furious when he heard this. It was fine if Green Ghost threatened him, but he didn't expect Chao Nanshan to threaten him when he was already like this. What kind of joke was this? Was he, Ma Baori, that despicable? Chao Nanshan sneered with all his strength. You can try if you don't believe me. Green Ghost has always been a man of his words. Do you know why he wants me to live? Because I have something he wants to know. If I die, he won't have anyone to ask. Cough cough. Ma Baori, if I really die, Green Ghost will definitely blame you. Ha ha ha. At that time, you won't be far from death. Ma Baori stared at Chao Nanshan with wide eyes. He didn't know if Chao Nanshan was telling the truth, but if Chao Nanshan was telling the truth, then he really didn't dare to let him die. He had seen how ruthless Green Ghost was. If Chao Nanshan really did have the answer to a question Green Ghost wanted to know, then Green Ghost wouldn't let him go if he died. Master Chao, what will Green Ghost ask you? Tell me and I'll give you a quick death. Instead of being like this, why don't you just die a quick death? What do you say? Ma Baori squatted down and said softly to Chao Nanshan, Master Chao, I'll give you a quick death. Tell me what Green Ghost wants to know, and I'll do him a favor. This is good for everyone. Since I've been with you for so many years, just tell me. Chao Nanshan smiled and closed his eyes. He didn't have the strength to look at Ma Baori anymore. You think Green Ghost will remember your favor? You're too naive. Plus, I'm telling you something so important, but you want to kill me. It's not worth it. What's the point of living like this? I'm letting you die because I think highly of you. Ma Baori didn't have that much patience. Hearing Chao Nanshan's rejection, he stood up in anger and wanted to kick Chao Nanshan. At this moment, Ma Baori felt a sharp pain in his lower back. Then he felt a sharp blade cutting half of his body. Before he could say anything, he fell to the ground. Di Jindiao held a bloody dagger in his hand and used the last of his strength to kneel on the ground again. Master Chao, I'll help you. Di Jindiao, who was kneeling on the ground, suddenly pierced Chao Nanshan's heart with the dagger, and then slit his own neck without hesitation. Chapter 309. Zhou Meiyan was wearing a purple business suit and a pair of high heels with black stockings. She was sitting in front of the luxurious office desk with her knees together. She was carefully reading the morning paper in her hand. The more she looked at it, the more she felt that something was wrong. In the end, her brows were tightly knitted together. Zhou Yiming, why are you showing this to me? Zhou Meiyan glared at her brother. Are you saying that Su Yin is the one who caused all this trouble in Suhang City? Zhou Yiming nodded. He played with an unlit cigarette in his hand. Sister, why would I lie to you? If he didn't cause this, who else could it be? They went to Swang to shoot the commercial for 2 days. How could Swang be so coincidental? I heard that Wang Ruping and Tang Huabin, the 2 senior officials, are not good people. All the female celebrities who go to Swang to perform will be taken advantage of by them. Stop beating around the bush. Zhou Meiyan snorted. Sis, tell me, if our Ling Jiling goes, how can those 2 bastards not think of ways to take advantage of her? Zhou Yiming said. The night before they arrived, they were taken out by the police for no reason. In the end, it was you who called Secretary Zhang of the provincial government to stop this. I don't think my future brother-in-law is someone who would take it lying down. I think he realized that something was wrong after he finished with the whole thing, so he went back to teach them a lesson. When Zhou Meiyan heard this, she felt that it made some sense. Su Yin was definitely not someone to be trifled with, but how could he pull down those 2 big parasites in just a few days? One had to know that dealing with a big corrupt person in the party was much more difficult than eradicating a malignant tumor of the underworld. However, after hearing Zhou Yiming's words, Zhuo Meiyan felt that Su Yin might have something to do with this. I have something for you to do. Zhuo Meiyan hooked her finger at Zhuo Yeming. Zhuo Yeming pretended to be disgusted. Don't try to trick me with your hooking finger. I won't fall for it. You want me to go to Swang to find out? Da. I'm telling you there's no way. There's still a pile of shit behind me. I don't have the time. Is your skin itching again? When did I seduce a man? Stinking brat, I'll repeat myself to you once more. I'm still a proper virgin. Don't make it sound like I'm an abandoned flower. Zhuo Meiyan glared fiercely at Zhuo Yeming. Are you going or not? Kid, I'm telling you, it's fine if you don't want to go, but give me back my car keys now. Zhuo Yeming was startled. He hurriedly reached for the Ferrari car key at his waist and muttered softly, Is it necessary? Be good and listen to me. If you go, I'll give you this Ferrari FF. Zhuo Meiyan raised her eyebrows. How about it? Isn't that enough? As long as you agree, the key will be yours forever. As long as you don't feel tired, I don't care if you drive to Suang. That's a promise. Zhuo Yeming's eyes lit up. Zhuo Meiyan nodded. Remember to bring some specialties to Secretary Zhang. If we want to build a film studio around Westlake in the future, we have to build a good relationship with Secretary Zhang. Do you understand? Yes. Hearing this, Zhuo Yeming became excited. It had been a long time since he'd driven on the highway. After all, this Ferrari FF was his dream. Sky Entertainment Group didn't lack money. A car that cost less than 6 million yuan was nothing to the group. But to Zhuo Yeming, it was life-threatening. Even though he was the younger brother of the acting chairman, he only had 10,000 yuan a month for living expenses. It was more than enough for him to eat, drink, and play. However, if he had to buy a car that cost more than 100,000 yuan a year, he really couldn't afford it. It couldn't be helped. It was his sister's fault for being so strict. Zhuo Meiyan knew that men become bad when they become rich. In addition, her brother Zhuo Yeming was already handsome. If he drove a Ferrari, how many girls would try their best to get into his bed? If he met a scheming black-bellied woman, who knew what kind of trouble he'd cause? Therefore, Zhuo Meiyan was quite stingy with her brother. Tang Group was such a big company, but her standard cars were all Mercedes-Benz. Out of the 3 cars, only the S65 AMG, which cost less than 3 million yuan, wasn't custom-made. The extended Mercedes-Benz RV and Mercedes-Benz MPV were all custom-made. Zhuo Yeming's car was of a much lower class. He only had a standard Passat, Guochuanjiang, Qin Tianjian, Zhoubucheng. These people all drove top-notch Range Rovers, BMW 7 Series, Audi A8S and so on. Zhuo Yeming, on the other hand, wasn't a big deal, but he wasn't a small one either. He was just an executive vice president of Sky Entertainment Group. Driving a Passat that cost more than 200,000 yuan was really beneath him. What's more, which small leader of Sky Entertainment Group didn't drive a car that cost 300,000 or 500,000 yuan? Therefore, Zhuo Yeming had a special fondness for Ferrari. This car was because of a movie. At that time, Zhuo Meiyan had placed an advertisement for Ferrari for the sake of Zhuo Meiyan's reputation. However, she didn't expect the movie to be a big hit, and had an international influence. Therefore, Ferrari CEO was so happy that he specially gave Zhuo Meiyan a limited edition Ferrari FF. Zhuo Yeming begged left and right before Zhuo Meiyan finally agreed to let him drive it for 2 days. However, the price was that she wouldn't give him living expenses for the next month. When it came to financial power, Zhuo Yeming wanted to cry. His sister was even more strict than his mother. Right. Sister, I'm going to Swang now. Can you at least give me some expenses? Zhuo Yeming smiled bitterly. I only have a few thousand yuan on me. At most, it's barely enough to pay for the toll and gas. I can't be too cheap to buy specialty products for Secretary Zhang, right? Zhuo Meiyan rolled her eyes. She took out a card from her handbag and tossed it to Zhuo Yeming. Every expense on this card will be sent to me through the bank's SMS system. Therefore, you better keep a receipt for every expense. Otherwise, I'll deduct it from your living expenses. Zhuo Yeming really wanted to cry. However, for the sake of his luxury car, for the sake of not having to drive his Passat to the company with a dirty face, he gritted his teeth and accepted it. At most, he would spend all his living expenses on this precious car. At most, he would just freeload every day. It seemed that he had to establish a good relationship with his future brother-in-law. Only then would he be able to get more living expenses. Sister, why aren't my future brother-in-law and the others back yet? Zhou Yiming asked. Just do what you need to do. Go. Zhou Meiyan waved her hand and signaled for Zhou Yiming to do whatever he needed to do. According to her calculations, Su Yin and the others should be back by now. If there were no accidents, they would definitely be home today. She called Wu Yuandong. Wu Yuandong said that he would try his best to rush the whole day. However, Zhou Meiyan wanted them to be safe first. She told them not to rush and that they would be back before dinner. She would prepare a welcome dinner for them. Wu Yuandong rushed the whole night and finally arrived at Hudong City at dawn. He didn't ask Su Yin what he wanted. He just followed Su Yin's instructions and drove to the hotel. After getting out of the car, he realized that the hotel belonged to Su Yin and the others. After a tiring night, Wu Yuandong wolfed down the food and went back to his room to sleep. When he received Mr. Zhu's call, he didn't say much. He only said that he was still on the road, and that he should go back as soon as possible. Ling Jiling didn't expect Su Yin to own such a hotel in this small town. She was even more shocked than when she saw the meteor shower for the first time. Miss Ling, why don't you rest in this room first? Ruan Qingshuang took Ling Jiling to Qin Waner's room. Because the hotel's business was very good, there were no empty rooms. Chou Yun and Guogua shared a room. Wu Yuandong was arranged to stay in Su Yun's room. Ruan Qingshuang could only arrange for Ling Jiling to stay in Qin Waner's room. After all, Qin Waner was working overtime and wouldn't come back. Ruan Qingshuang was about to ask Su Yin to rest in her room. Ling Jiling spoke first. Brother, can you come here for a while? I have something to ask you. Okay. Su Yin nodded. Then, he turned around and gestured for Ruan Qingshuang to go back to her room to rest. He also had something to say to Ling Jiling. The two of them entered the room and closed the door. Ruan Qingshuang didn't think too much about it. She was indeed a little tired. She might as well take a break while Su Yin and the others were talking. She still had to get up later to arrange lunch for them. It was a pleasure to have friends from afar. After all, Ling Jiling and Wu Yuandong were guests from afar. They were Su Yin's friends. Ruan Qingshuang naturally had to treat them well. After Su Yin and Ling Jiling entered the room, Ling Jiling said bluntly, President Zhu doesn't know that you're in a hotel in Hudong, right? Well, to be exact, this hotel is Sister Shuang's. I'm with Sister Shuang. Su Yin laughed. Su Yin, if you really treat me as an older sister and don't treat me as an outsider, then tell me the truth. Ling Jiling glared at Su Yin. You brought us here to rest. After we rest, are you going to stay here and not leave? Su Yin didn't evade the question and nodded. Of course. This is my home. Ling Jiling didn't say anything. She stared at Su Yin for a while. She didn't say anything else. Okay. Then, how do you want me to explain this to President Zhu when I go back? President Zhu will definitely be waiting for you to go back and give you a welcome dinner. I really haven't thought about it. Su Yin rubbed his chin. Ling Jiling really hit the nail on the head. Seeing Su Yin so conflicted, Ling Jiling knew that he wouldn't be able to figure it out in a short time. Take your time. Since we're already here, I also want to take a bath and rest. I'm going to take a shower. You better think of a reasonable explanation after I'm done. Otherwise, I really don't know how to explain this to President Zhu. If you don't want your older sister to suffer, then give me a perfect answer later. Chapter 310. Although there was the sound of water splashing in the bathroom, Su Yin was not in the mood to think about those men and women. If he didn't go back to Jibei with Ling Jiling, Zhu Meiyan would definitely get to the bottom of it. Su Yin was not afraid that she would know about the hotel, but he didn't want to waste time explaining. But after thinking about it, Su Yin really had no choice. He would just take one step at a time and let her go. Ling Jiling used the hot water to get rid of her tiredness. Seeing that there was a clean woolen bathrobe in the bathroom, she put it on and walked out without thinking much. When she came out, Su Yin was really shocked because the bathrobe was Qin Weiner's. Su Yin didn't pay attention and thought that Qin Weiner had come back. You. Why did you come out in this bathrobe? Su-yin swallowed and stuttered. This dress is so ugly. It doesn't match your temperament at all. Ling Jiling looked down and shrugged indifferently. I think it's quite good. Isn't this specially prepared for me? At this time, Su-yin finally understood what it meant to think of the devil, and the devil has come. The electronic door of the room opened with a zzz sound. Qin Wan'er widened her eyes and looked at the two people inside. She angrily shouted at Su-yin. Su-yin, what is the meaning of this? Tell me clearly, which part of my dress is ugly? Which part of it doesn't match your temperament? Qin Wan'er had worked overtime at the police station last night. Recently, a lot of big things had happened in the city. Because of the bidding for the new artificial river, there had been a fierce fight, which resulted in 2 deaths and 7 serious injuries. The city attached great importance to this matter, so Qin Wan'er had been working very hard during this period. Originally, she did not want to come back to rest today. However, when Director Chen saw her haggard face and learned that she had worked overtime again, he was furious. He immediately ordered people to send Qin Wan'er back, and told her that she could work overtime on weekends if she wanted to. However, if she stayed up late, she had to go home on weekends. That was why Qin Wan'er dragged her tired body back. When she got out of the car at the entrance of the hotel, Dan Jiahao stopped Qin Wan'er and told her mysteriously, Sister Wan'er, brother Yun is back. Hearing that Su-yin had returned, Qin Wan'er's originally low spirit suddenly rose. She opened her eyes wide and looked at Dan Jiahao. Where is he? Where is he? They are all upstairs. It seems that they have been on the road all night and are resting. Dan Jiahao smiled and said, Big Ming also came back with brother Yin. I'm going up first. Talk to you later. Qin Wan'er did not listen to the second half of Dan Jiahao's words, and rushed directly to the elevator. After hurrying to the top floor, Qin Wan'er found that it was very quiet. She did not know that these people were tired. Last night was very exciting. Moreover, they had been on the road all night. Who would not be tired? Even Ruan Qingshuang, who had been emphasizing not to fall asleep, began to make a faint snoring sound on the bed. Qin Wan'er could also guess that everyone might have fallen asleep, so she quietly walked to her room. It was good that everyone was asleep. She would also sleep. Then, she would wash up and dress up. When she met Su-yin at noon, she would not be so haggard and embarrassing. However, what Qin Wan'er did not expect was that when she just walked into the door, she heard a conversation inside. It turned out to be a man and a woman. The man's voice was obviously Su-yin, but the woman's voice was definitely not Ruan Qingshuang or Chou Yun. Qin Wan'er was so angry that her brain went blank. Su-yin was too much, wasn't he? Not only did he bring a woman back, but he even wanted to do such a dirty thing in her room. He even said that her bathrobe was not good enough for that little slut. For a moment, Qin Wan'er did not have time to think about it. She directly opened the door of the room, pointed at Su-yin and questioned him. Su-yin stared at Qin Wan'er and said with an innocent expression, Wan'er, didn't Sister Shuang say that you were working overtime in the municipal bureau? Why did you suddenly come back? Well, let me explain to you first. What else do you have to explain? I asked you to bring a woman back to do dirty things. Can you go to your own room? This is my room, okay? Are you deliberately disgusting me? If you don't want me to continue living here, just say it. Qin Wan'er was indeed a little impulsive. She even said that. When Ling Jiling saw that the owner of the room had come back, she realized that the bathrobe was probably the owner's. She hurriedly explained, I'm sorry. I really didn't know that this bathrobe was yours. I'm really sorry. And I definitely don't have the kind of relationship with Su-yin that you think. I hope you don't misunderstand. Qin Wan'er snorted and stared at Ling Jiling. I misunderstood. I misunderstood. Her red lips slightly opened, but she couldn't say a word. It seemed that all the words were stuck in her throat. After being stunned for a long time, Qin Wan'er instantly reacted. She didn't care that she was angry with Su-yin. She stepped forward and pulled Su-yin to her side. She whispered, This can't be. Did I see it wrong? Su-yin, hurry up and explain to me. After that, Qin Wan'er pinched Su-yin's arm hard. Su-yin cried out in pain. Only then did Qinwan believe him and nodded. This is really not a dream. Why is Ling Jiling here? Suyin rubbed her red arm. Qinwan, you're an adult now. Can't you use your brain when you do things? What dream? This is Ling Jiling. Can't you be more ladylike? It's a happy day to have friends from afar. Why are you shouting? Hey Suyin, even if she is a star, she can't wear this in my room and flirt with you. Qinwan didn't care about this. Explain to me what's going on. Suyin closed the door. Don't wake others up. Let me introduce you first, okay? Introduce. No need. I know her. Qinwan looked at Ling Jiling with her eyes wide open. This was definitely not wrong. She was the one who made movies and filmed so many commercials. She was a domestic A-list actress. But she doesn't know you. Suyin glared. At this time, Ling Jiling was embarrassed, so she took the initiative to show her goodwill to Qinwan. Hello, my name is Ling Jiling. When we came, the rooms downstairs were full, so Miss Wan arranged for me to stay in this room. I'm sorry, I didn't know this room was yours. Sorry to trouble you. No. It's no trouble. Qinwan shook her head hard. My name is Qinwan. Hello, Miss Qin. Ling Jiling's politeness had long been a habit, because the environment she faced was completely different from Qinwan's. Every day, she faced either high-level leaders or the public media. Therefore, her habit of speaking and doing things was to be polite, no matter who she faced. But Qinwan was different. She faced some hard-pressed cases. Those who were involved with her were either evil or robbers. So her loud voice was often inadvertently revealed. Seeing that a big star was so polite to her, Qinwan was really embarrassed. Miss Ling, you can call me Wan. I'm really sorry just now. I must have misunderstood you. Did Suyin peek at you when you were taking a shower? I knew it must be Suyin. This is too similar to Suyun's style. He likes to peek at girls taking a shower. He also peeked at me taking a shower. Miss Ling, I'm a police officer. Don't worry, I will never let him go. Suyin was speechless. What was this? Qinwan, are you kidding me? Are you sure it's me who likes to peek at you taking a shower, or you who likes to peek at me taking a shower? Can you trick me even more? Shut up. You don't have the right to speak here. Qinwan said to Suyin impolitely. Then she turned to Ling Jiling and smiled. Miss Ling, can you sign an autograph for me? Of course. Ling Jiling maintained her habitual smile. Wanner, I especially like girls like you. If you don't mind, we will be friends in the future. Qinwan's mouth formed an O shape in surprise. Really? It's the first time I've been so close to a star. It's also the first time I've been so close to a policewoman. Ling Jiling had this kind of temperament, which made people feel close to her. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been able to become an A-list star. Seeing that the two of them were chatting, Suyin sighed helplessly. Well, can I leave first? Go, do whatever you want. Although Qinwan hadn't seen Suyin for a long time, she was still not polite at all. When facing Ling Jiling, she was much more excited. Sister Jiling, do you know that there are a lot of your fans in our station? Can I take a picture with you? Yes. Ling Jiling said and took out her mobile phone. She generously touched Qinwan's head and took a selfie. Qinwan also took out her mobile phone and took a lot of pictures. This time, she didn't come back for nothing. Suyin was really good. He had only been out for a short time, but he had already abducted an A-list star in China. Suddenly, when she thought of Suyin, Qinwan found that Suyin had already gone out. Anyway, there were many opportunities to see Suyin. It was rare to have a chance to take a picture with a star and be friends. In addition, Qinwan really didn't expect Ling Jiling to be so amiable. She didn't put on airs at all. She really liked her more and more. If it weren't for Suyin, Ling Jiling probably wouldn't be friends with strangers so easily. Because of Suyin, Ling Jiling felt that Suyun's friends must be worthy of being friends with, so there was no barrier between her and Qinwan at all. The two of them took pictures and signed autographs in the room. Suyin didn't want to be bored here. After leaving the room, he went to Ruan Qingshuang's room. Although Ruan Qingshuang closed the door for Suyin because she wanted to talk to Suyin, when Suyin arrived, she was already sleeping soundly. Chapter 311. Ling Jiling and Qin Wan'er chatted with each other. They didn't feel sleepy at all. Although their topics were limited, they had enough to talk about Su Yun. Therefore, the whole morning passed by quickly without them noticing. Because Wu Yuandong had promised President Zhou that he would be back before dinner, he got up quickly at the appointed time. At the same time, Wan Qingshuang was also awakened by a phone call. It was Liangshan. He also learned from Dan Jiahao that they would all come, along with Brother Yun's celebrity friends. Therefore, when he saw that it was time, he called to ask Wan Qingshuang how to arrange the meal. After Wan Qingshuang instructed Liangshan, she wanted to get up to wake everyone up. When she turned around, she was shocked. Su Yun was stretching on the sofa. He was also awakened by the phone call. When did you come in? Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you come to the bed to sleep? Can you be comfortable on the sofa? Su Yun scratched his head. When I came in, you were already asleep. I was afraid of waking you up, so I took a nap on the sofa for a while. It's okay. It's okay to sleep well at night. By the way, Wan'er is back. She's happily chatting with Sister Jiling in her room. I just wanted to call her. Then I'll go and wake up Guogua and the others. You go downstairs and take a look. Liangshan and the others haven't seen you for a long time. They are always asking when you will come back. Wan Qingshuang smiled slightly. Go. Okay. Su Yun got up and took the elevator downstairs. He really hadn't been back for a long time. As soon as he reached the first floor, Su Yun heard Dan Jiahao bragging to Chang at the door. He said that Brother Yun got the otaku goddess, Sister Jiling, and that they were sleeping in the same room upstairs. At this time, LV Winnie found that Su Yun came down. Just as she was about to call Brother Yun, Su Yun gestured for her to be silent. LV Winnie certainly knew what Su Yun wanted to do. Of course, she also heard Dan Jiahao bragging to Chang. Moreover, Chang was listening attentively with relish. Then. Focus. How is it now? Is she still upstairs sleeping with Brother Yin? Chang's eyes were shining. He admired in his heart. How could his Brother Yin be so awesome? He even got the goddess, Ling Jiling. Dan Jiahao bragged happily. Of course, she is still upstairs sleeping with Brother Yin. At this time, a small security guard standing beside Dan Jiahao and Chang turned his head and saw Su Yun. He was stunned and quickly pulled Dan Jiahao and said, Brother Hao Yun. Brother Yin came down. Damn, you learned to scare me, right? Dan Jiahao didn't believe it. He lifted his foot and lightly kicked the little security guard's butt. Go. I'm talking to Brother Chang here. You don't have the right to interrupt. Go back to your post and cheer up. Don't lose the face of our hotel. Yes. The little security guard wanted to say more, but when he saw Su Yun put his finger to his mouth and made a silent gesture, he didn't say anything. He bowed his head and obediently went to stand at the front door. Dan Jiahao continued to brag to Chang. Brother Chang, I am not bragging to you. Brother Yin definitely didn't stay idle last night. Today he definitely won't let go of the opportunity to train. You didn't see Ling Jiling's small waist and small face. She is much prettier than in the movies. As long as it is a man, he will. Qiangzi suddenly felt that something was wrong. As soon as he looked up, he saw Su Yun standing behind Dan Jiahao. He immediately opened his mouth wide. Seeing Chang's expression, Dan Jiahao was stunned. Then he wondered, Brother Chang, are you going to lie to me? Brother Yin is standing behind me? Hee, that's impossible. That old man must still be having fun upstairs. If Big Brother Yin was here, he would definitely kick my butt, hee. Before he finished laughing, Su Yun's foot hooked Dan Jiahao's butt. Although Su Yun's kick wasn't heavy, it still made Dan Jiahao stagger. This kid was mainly scared. The moment he turned around, his whole face was like a bitter gourd as he complained to Chang. Brother Chang, Brother Yin is here. Why didn't you tell me? You wouldn't believe me even if I told you. Chang laughed and then put on a gloating expression. Who told you to brag? How about it? Brother Yin personally came to teach you a lesson. Brother Yin is not the kind of person who will sleep with women. Su Yun really wanted to give Chang a kick. Was he praising him? Or was he insulting him? Often when a person says I'm not bragging, he will start bragging. Chang said proudly, I knew this kid was bragging just now. I was just casually listening. If Brother Yin didn't come, I would have kicked him and told him to stop bragging. Su Yin glanced at Xiangzi and said, often, when a person says I'm not trying to hurt you, he will start to hurt you. Ah. Chang was stunned. He didn't understand Su Yin's meaning. It's not you or me. Chang, you're already an adult. How can you believe Jiahao's words so much? Look at how agitated you were just now. What then? Focus on the main point. Su Yin said. Alright, I think you really need to go back to the furnace to further your studies. Why don't I ask Mayor Qin for help tomorrow, and help you re-enroll in Hudong First High School for a few years? Chang also shut his mouth and didn't say anything. He stood by the side and smiled foolishly. After a while he said, Mayor Qin is so busy now. How can he have time to care about such a small matter? Brother Yin, don't worry. Tomorrow, I'll go to university to enroll myself and study my IQ. The three of them chatted casually. LV Winnie went to the kitchen and called Liangshan out. Liangshan hurriedly put down his things and ran out. He shouted in the hall, Brother Yin. His voice was so loud that it made Su Yin tremble. Liangshan was indeed Liangshan. I haven't seen you for a few days. I noticed that your aura has become more vigorous. Is it because you ate too much medicinal cuisine? Hehe, that's right. This diet is too nourishing every day. Brother Yin, do you have anything in particular you want to eat? I'll arrange for the kitchen immediately. Sister Shuang arranged it just now. She said that you have a friend coming over, so we'll make it more special. Liangshan said. Do you have anything else you want to add? Su Yin thought for a while, and shook his head. No need. Since Sister Shuang has arranged it, we'll follow her arrangements. We'll make it special. Chang heard and immediately rushed over. Brother Shanzi, did you say that Brother Yin's friend really came over? Of course. He's a big star. Liangshan said proudly. Chang looked at Su Yin from head to toe. Then he turned around and grabbed Dan Jiahao's neck under his arm. He pulled Dan Jiahao and ran out. As he ran, he said, Continue. Continue what you said just now. What did Brother Yin do to Ling Jiling? Su Yin was too lazy to pay attention to the two guys. He estimated that Ruan Qingshuang and the others would be coming down soon. Sure enough, just as Su Yin looked at the time, Ruan Qingshuang and Qin Wan'er invited Ling Jiling and Wu Yuandong, who were now guests, down. Chou Yun and Guogua brought up the rear. Chang and Dan Jiahao, who had just run outside, quickly stopped fooling around. They tidied up their clothes and pretended to walk back. After all, Hudong City was a small third-tier city in China. Stars were a luxury in such a small city. It was easy to not see them. Shanzi, let the kitchen prepare. Let's let the guests eat first, Ruan Qingshuang said. Then, she waved at Chang and signaled him to come over. Chang was happy. He left Dan Jiahao aside and ran over. Sister Shuang, what's your order? Do you have anything to do in the afternoon? If you're free, you can accompany Mr. Wu and have a drink or two, Ruan Qingshuang said. No problem. Chang said. Nothing is more important than our hotel. Since such an important guest is here, of course I have to accompany him. Wu Yuandong suddenly said. Sorry, I can't drink. After dinner, I have to hurry. Then Wu Yuandong called Su Yin aside. He knew what Su Yin was thinking, so he went straight to the point. Brother Su Yin, although you're home, Miss Ling and I have to go back to report. Ms. Wu called me. I said I would be back before this afternoon. She's waiting to welcome you. What are you going to do? Su Yin had thought about this before, but he couldn't figure it out. Now he could only let nature take its course. I'll call her and explain. Don't worry. Since you've decided to go back in the afternoon, I won't force you to stay. Brother Dong, I'm an honest person. When you have time, come to Hudong City alone. I'll definitely drink with you. I believe you. Wu Yuandong smiled and pointed at his watch. Brother Su Yin, if that's the case, I'll be straightforward. I have to hurry back in the afternoon. The journey from Hudong City to Jibei City isn't short, so we'll have a simple meal. There will be plenty of opportunities in the future. If we prepare a big table, this meal will take at least 2 hours. So, I'm worried that we don't have enough time. After all, you're not going back with us. You should at least give Ling Jiling some time to explain to Ms. Zhua. Ms. Zhua, you know that even if you explain to her, she'll definitely ask us the reason. Su Yin nodded. Wu Yuandong was right. Since that was the case, he had to comply. He went back and explained the situation to Ruan Qingshuang. Then he asked Liang Shan to choose the most exquisite 8-course medicinal cuisine. Su Yin led everyone to sit down and accompany them. They gave Ling Jiling and Wu Yuandong a simple farewell meal. They ate very quickly and finished it in half an hour. Ling Jiling also knew that Wu Yuandong was doing the right thing. They had to hurry back before Ms. Zhua finished arranging everything. If Ms. Zhua went to the hotel to wait for them, they wouldn't be able to explain themselves when they arrived. Now they could only finish the meal as soon as possible and rush back to the company before 5 p.m. That way, they could at least leave some leeway. Chapter 312. Qin Wen'er still felt like she was dreaming. This is the biggest star I've ever seen. I asked for a lot of autographs. I'll show them off when I go to work on Monday. Su Yin, you're really something. What did you do in Northern Ji? How did you manage to get involved with an A-list star? Su Yin shrugged. Would you believe me if I told you that I went to Swang with Ling Jiling to shoot an advertisement? I believe you. How much did they give you, Dad? Guogua continued. Did Sister Xiaojiu introduce you to a chance to earn extra money? Why isn't she with you? I miss her. When can I see her? I'm afraid she doesn't have time to see you recently. Su Yin shook her head. The Tang family was so busy that their heads were in a mess. If Tangjiu didn't do something big and help the Tang family, they wouldn't have a good time. Only when Tangjiu did something big would she be able to live in peace. Qin Wen'er sighed. It seems that no one has it easy. Forget it. I won't chat with you guys anymore. I'll go to the bureau in the afternoon. The bidding for the artificial river has not been settled yet. People nowadays run really fast. In the blink of an eye, you can't even find your shadow. Su Yin is back. Ask Su Yin to help you. Ruan Qingshuang said hurriedly. Su Yin, something big happened in Hudong City while you were away. What happened? Su Yin was stunned for a moment. It didn't matter if he didn't ask. Once he asked, no one spoke. They all lowered their heads. Even Xiangzi and Dan Jiahao lowered their heads and didn't speak. Guogua had seen a lot. She pondered for a while and said to Su Yin, a few days ago, the city wanted to improve the environment of the artificial river. They wanted to attract investors. They wanted to use a few hundred acres of land around the artificial river in exchange for investors to improve the environment of the artificial river. Forget it, I'll do it. Qin Wen'er was worried that Guogua could not express herself clearly. The city wants to find someone to rebuild the man-made river, but the cost is too high. So, they put the surrounding hundreds of acres of land at the current price. They want to attract good projects and stimulate the economy of Hudong City. Everyone knew that place was a piece of juicy meat, so they fought over it like crazy. Lu Feng, Dan Hongning, and Kong Zhong are also preparing to take this project. They have already discussed it with the bank. As long as they can take this project, money is not a problem. Su Yin was a little surprised. They've already set their sights on it. Who dares to compete with them? If it's just people from Hudong City, no one would dare to compete with them. But the problem is that this bidding is not only for our city. People from all over Jiangbei province can compete for this bid. Qin Wen'er continued. People with discerning eyes can see that this place has a lot of potential. If we do some projects around the artificial river, we will only make money. So many companies have come to bid. Did something happen to Lu Feng and the others? Su Yin did not wait for Qin Wen'er to finish. He looked at LV Winnie as he spoke. LV Winnie shook her head at first, then nodded. What's going on? Su Yin was now certain that something had happened. Ruan Qingshuang sighed. Let me tell you. They don't want the fertile water to flow into other people's fields. So they did something on the way to Hudong City. Anyone who came to bid was scared away by them. But this time, they met someone even more ruthless. They brought hundreds of people with them. They even used guns and beat up all of them. Now Kong Zhong is slightly injured and lying in the hospital. What about Lu Feng and Dan Hongning? Su Yin asked calmly. It was not difficult for him to guess what had happened. After all, the 3 tigers of Nanqing were local bullies. They certainly did not want the fertile water of Hudong City to be taken away by people from other cities. It was normal for them to play some tricks. However, someone from other cities was so ruthless that he could bring people here and settle the matter. He was definitely a ruthless person. They are both under investigation. They are only slightly injured. Qin Waner's words made Su Yin feel relieved. Ruan Qingshuang didn't have such a big heart. She sighed again and said, "This time 2 people were killed. They were both little brothers who were on good terms with Lu Feng. I'm actually quite worried about Lu Feng's mood." Hearing Sister Qingshuang's words, LV Winnie could not help but sigh. This time, her cousin's matter was really big. "As long as they are fine," Su Yin asked Qin Waner, "do you have any clues? Who did it?" "I really don't have a clue." Qin Waner shook her head helplessly. This time, there were dozens of people who wanted to bid. They were all stopped and threatened by the 3 tigers of Nancheng. In short, they have offended too many people. It is not easy to investigate. Those people did not leave any evidence. The cars that came had license plates from different areas. They probably all used fake license plates. They did not leave any useful clues. Su Yin had experienced so many things. Even if this was not a small matter, he was still calm. It was good that the 3 tigers of Nancheng were fine. The person who can do this is definitely not a simple person. Don't worry about it. If we rely on you to solve this case, you will never be able to solve it. Even if you find some clues, you will not be able to catch the real mastermind. At most, you will find a scapegoat. Then what do you think we should do? Qin Waner heard Su Yin pouring cold water on her. She was a little angry. If we can't find out, then don't investigate. Then why do we still need the police? We are funded by the government and the taxpayers' money. Now that this kind of thing has happened, if we don't investigate, then we are not doing anything. You make it sound so simple. Su Yin smiled. Then don't blame me for being blunt. Do you think that if you investigate the case and catch people, then you are worthy of your salary? How many people you catch are scapegoats? If I tell you, I'm afraid you won't believe it. How many people you know are scapegoats, but you still want to catch them to solve the case? I don't need to say this. You know it very well. Qin Waner said anxiously, no matter what, they are caught. The scapegoats are also the bad guys. At least someone will come out and take legal responsibility for what they have done. You are distorting the law. The law punishes the real bad guys, Su Yin said. If the scapegoats are punished, the real criminals will still break the law. Do you understand? So, what we have to catch is the root cause. Of course, I know that we have to catch the root cause. Aren't we investigating now? Why don't you do it? Qin Waner wasn't being childish like Su Yin. She was just annoyed by all the cases she had to deal with. Su Yin smiled slightly. Of course, I won't let go of the people who hurt my brother. Even if Lu Feng and the others were wrong in this matter, they were at most threatening. The other party hit them, and they were so ruthless. That was their fault. Playing with guns is illegal. But I am not a policeman. If they fall into your hands, they are lucky. If they fall into my hands, I won't be so nice. You. Qin Waner was stunned and then said, "It's okay if they fall into your hands, as long as they pay the price." Police Officer Qin can say such a thing? Su Yin was really a little surprised. This was not Qin Waner's style. Why did Qin Waner's tone sound like she hated those who hurt her brother more than she hated him? Waner, did you take the wrong medicine today? Su Yin teased her. Ruan Qingshuang quickly explained the doubts in Su Yin's heart. It's actually like this. The planning of the artificial lake and the investment to improve the current situation of the artificial lake were proposed by Waner's father, Uncle Qin. His original intention was good. He wanted to stimulate the economy of Hudong City. Everyone knows that Hudong City's economy mostly depends on tourism. After all, it is an ancient city. However, Taizhou City, which is 100 kilometers away from us, has the 5 mountains. Many tourists choose to spend a day in Hudong City, and then rush to Taizhou City to watch the sunrise on Taizhou Mountain. Because the 2 tourist cities are so close to each other, a large number of tourists from Hudong City have left for Taizhou City. Su Yin and everyone listened carefully. What she said made sense. If all the tourists could stay in Hudong City, He would not have to worry about having empty rooms even if he doubled the price of the hotel rooms. So, Uncle Chin proposed to the city to do some construction around the artificial lake to keep the tourists. That's why the investment for this project came about. Because of the investment for this project, there was a gunfight a few days ago. Wan Qingshuang continued. Now, Secretary Feng is using this incident to frame Uncle Chin. That's why Wan is in a bad mood. Su Yin, do you understand? Of course. That Feng guy is asking for a beating again. Su Yin sneered. Since Uncle Chin proposed such a good project, we must not let this project go to waste. Is that Feng guy trying to stop this project? Qin Wan'er nodded. That's right. If that's the case, this incident will not affect my father's performance, and it will be his downfall because of this incident. If someone were to talk about what Mayor Qin did in Hudong City in the future, the people would say that he didn't do anything. Instead, he caused a shooting and made everyone panic. Haha, if a government official leaves such a bad impression in the hearts of the people, who wouldn't feel bad? Alright, I understand everything you've said. Su Yin smiled. Don't worry. I will not let that Feng guy interrupt this project. You also tell Uncle Chin that I, Su Yin, was not at home a few days ago. Now that I, Su Yin, am back, tell him not to worry. If he can propose such a good project for the people of Hudong City, I will support him. Qin Wan'er had been feeling uncomfortable for the past few days. She finally felt better. She did not know why, but when she saw Su Yin and heard what Su Yin said, she felt there was hope. She had thought there was no hope for this project before. Since Brother Yin said so, Officer Qin, you can rest assured. Chang grinned. Now that Su Yin was back, Qin Wan's back must be straightened. Chang, let's go. Take me to the hospital to see Kong Zhong. Su Yin said to Qin Wan'er. I will contact you later. Take me to see Lu Feng and Dan Jiahao. Chapter 313. Wu Yuandong once again drove north on the highway back to Jibei City. Ling Jiling, who was sitting in the back of the car, felt a little uneasy. Until now, President Zhou still did not know that Su Yin would not go back with her and Wu Yuandong today. Should she tell President Zhou the truth when she explained later? Although Su Yin did not seem to avoid the fact that he owned a hotel in Hudong City, Ling Jiling felt that she should try her best to avoid this problem. The road from Hudong City to Jibei City spanned from north to south across Jiangbei Province. It was considered the middle point between Jiangnan Province and Suang. Therefore, Wu Yuandong rushed back without stopping. Finally, he slowly drove the car into the building of Jibei Entertainment Group before 5 o'clock. Miss Ling, you go up first. I'll park the car in the basement. After Wu Yuandong parked the car, he informed Ling Jiling. Ling Jiling took a few deep breaths, then nodded firmly, and got out of the car. Seeing Ling Jiling come back, everyone, from the security guards at the door to the reception manager in the lobby, greeted her. Of course, the reception manager in the lobby was very curious why the mysterious handsome man did not come back with Ling Jiling. However, she saw that Ling Jiling was in a hurry to go to President Zhu's office, so she did not ask any more questions. After Ling Jiling got into the elevator, she went directly to Zhou Meiyan's office on the top floor. When the president's assistant Li Sisi saw Ling Jiling, she immediately went up to her and said, Miss Ling, President Zhou has been waiting for you for a long time. As she spoke, she looked behind her and saw that Ling Jiling was alone. She looked a little confused, but she still extended her hand and invited Ling Jiling into the office. President Zhou. Ling Jiling lightly knocked on the door and walked in. In the office, Zhou Meiyan and Feng Ying were chatting. When they saw Ling Jiling come in, Zhou Meiyan was in a good mood. You're finally back. I was just about to call Wu Yuandong to ask where you are. At that moment, Ling Jiling closed the door to the office. Zhou Meiyan was stunned. Alone. Zhou Meiyan finally asked the question that Li Sisi had not asked. Where's Su Yin? Didn't he come up with you? Feng Ying seemed to realize something. She was already holding her phone in her hand, ready to call and cancel the hotel that Zhou Meiyan had asked her to book. Director Zhusu. No, the Crown Prince has something else to do, so he didn't return to Jibei with us. Ling Jiling said awkwardly. He said he would call you to explain, so we didn't dare to ask too much. Zhou Meiyan's heart sank. She let out a long sigh. He didn't return to the northern meadows with you? Then where did he go? That little brat at the Tangkor needs him to help her do something big to stabilize her foundation. How could he not come back just because he said he wouldn't? Ling Zhiling was stunned. At this time, Feng Ying had already dialed a number. She got up and walked to the huge floor-to-ceiling window. The call was quickly connected. Hello, I'm Feng Ying from the Tang Corporation. I'm sorry, but please help me return the table of food I just booked. The guest can't come today. Thank you, sorry to trouble you. Of course, Zhou Meiyan could hear Feng Ying on the phone. Feng Ying knew her very well, and knew who she had booked the hotel for. Now that Su Yin wasn't coming, she wasn't in the mood to go. You don't need to tell me where he went. Zhou Meiyan nodded thoughtfully. She then said to Feng Ying, Sister Feng Ying, can you go out for a moment? I have something to discuss with Ling Zhiling alone. Okay. Feng Ying nodded. Although Zhou Meiyan wasn't going to hold a welcoming dinner for Ling Zhiling today, Ling Zhiling was still someone that Zhang Taisui had promoted. Therefore, she had to give her some face. Ling Zhiling, I'll treat you to Haidaleo later. How about it? Ling Zhiling looked at Feng Ying gratefully. Thank you, Sister Feng Ying. After saying that, Feng Ying patted Zhou Meiyan's shoulder again. You should know what kind of personality your crown prince has. Don't make things difficult for Zhiling. Her words don't have much power in front of him. If you can't stop her, do you still expect Zhiling to force her to stay? I know. Zhou Meiyan glanced to the side and urged. Okay. Hurry up and go. Feng Ying was the secretary of Sky Entertainment Group, but in everyone's eyes, she was a big sister. Zhou Meiyan had always been grateful to Feng Ying for taking care of her. When she was helpless, Feng Ying had always helped her through difficult times. Let's go. Zhou Meiyan walked to the door. She didn't forget to remind Ling Zhiling, remember to eat Haidaleo with me tonight. Ling Zhiling smiled as she watched Feng Ying leave Zhou Meiyan's office. Feng Ying had just stepped out of the door when Zhou Meiyan said, Ling Zhiling, I know you know where Su Yin is right now, but I won't make things difficult for you. Since he said he would call me to explain, I believe he will do it. I'll wait for his call. It's been hard on you this time. Just now, I was a bit emotional. I hope you can understand. Relax with big sister Feng Ying tonight. I actually want to go with you, but I'm a bit tired. Ling Zhiling knew very well that although they often looked like sisters, in terms of status, there was still a difference between a boss and an artist. No matter how A-list she was, no matter how famous she was, Zhou Meiyan was still her boss. It was her boss who packaged her that made her who she was today. This logic was actually very simple. Many people could understand it. President Zhou, I admit that I do know where the crown prince is right now, but it's better for him to explain to you himself. There are some things that I don't know, so I won't explain, Ling Zhiling said bluntly. Ling Zhiling, do you know why I arranged for Su Yin to film this commercial with you? Zhou Meiyan said calmly. If I tell you, I hope you won't be angry at me. I just thought of it and then did it. Now that I think about it, I've let you down. Ling Zhiling paused. She didn't understand why Zhou Meiyan would say this. President Zhou, what do you mean? Did you know that before my master passed away, Sky Entertainment decided to make you into a goddess in Huaxia and an idol in women's hearts? Zhou Meiyan said, why did Sky Entertainment do this instead of spending more money on Bing Bing? It's because your positions are different. You're a woman's idol, a goddess in the eyes of otakus, while Bing Bing is a woman's public enemy, a vixen in the eyes of otakus. Ling Zhiling knew all of this. Her relationship with Bing Bing wasn't something that could be explained in a few words. Actually, for this commercial, they were looking for Bing Bing. They liked Bing Bing's charm, that kind of seduction. But in the end, I convinced Mr. Isolde to recommend you. Zhou Meiyan said indifferently. I've already arranged everything from the start. I've already decided to let Su Yin handle this matter. That's why I strongly recommended you. If it wasn't for Su Yin, I would have arranged for Bing Bing to do this commercial. Ling Zhiling was startled. Why? Why do you want me to partner with the crown prince? Zhou Meiyan said calmly. Because Bing Bing gives men the impression that she's too seductive, and she's too direct. Although Bing Bing sometimes goes overboard, it's also because of her straightforward personality. But you're different. You're more scheming than her, and you don't do things so directly. Your femininity isn't seductive, but it's more seductive than her straightforward seduction. Hearing this, Ling Jiling seemed to understand Zhou Meiyan's intentions. She had deliberately arranged for Su Yin to be with her. Although Zhou Meiyan hadn't said her intentions, Ling Jiling already knew that it was terrifying. She knew that Zhou Meiyan liked Su Yin, but she still deliberately arranged for them to be together. Just thinking about it made her tremble. Director Zhou, you actually arranged for me to seduce Su Yin? Ling Jiling couldn't help but ask. Yes. Zhou Meiyan actually nodded and didn't deny the truth. That's what I was thinking because I knew that you wouldn't do it too obviously. Jiling, you've been popular in the entertainment industry for so many years. If there's such a good opportunity to rise up, based on my understanding of you, you wouldn't miss it. So I believe that you'll do everything in your power to make Su Yin fall in love with you. Ling Jiling stared at Zhou Meiyan with wide eyes. Why would you do this? Director Zhou, why did you set this up? Didn't you think of the consequences? If something really happened between me and Su Yin, you'll definitely regret it. If you say that, then it means that I made the right bet. Nothing happened between you and Su Yin, Zhou Meiyan said calmly. Zhou Meiyan said indifferently. It's because I believe in Su Yin's willpower that I let you do this experiment. I know very well why he didn't do anything to you. It must be because he has someone in his heart, but that person is definitely not me. Director Zhou, you really shouldn't have done this. It was reasonable for Ling Jiling to be angry. This is a form of harm to me and the Crown Prince. I really can't calm down after what you've done. I'm sorry, Director Zhou, I think I'll leave first. Ling Jiling stood up and left after speaking. Although Zhou Meiyan had the right to tell her to stop, she didn't do so. She seemed to have realized her mistake. Ling Jiling had just walked out of the office when Feng Ying grabbed her hand. Jiling, sometimes Meiyan does things selfishly, but this wasn't her intention. If you know her past, you'll understand why she did this. Of course, this is her fault. Before you came back, she talked to me and I criticized her. She also knows that she went overboard. Sister Feng Ying. Ling Jiling felt wronged. She felt like she was a chess piece. Even if Zhou Meiyan was the boss, she didn't have the right to do this. Chapter 314. After returning to Hudong City, Su Yin rested for half a day. He did not rest for the whole afternoon. First, he went to the hospital to see Kong Zhong, who was injured. His injury was not serious, but it was not light either. Su Yin asked him about the situation, and told him to rest well. Then he contacted Qin Wan and asked her to arrange for him to meet Lu Feng and Dan Hongning. Although they were the victims of this incident, after investigation, it was found that they wanted to control the bidders from other cities by threatening them. Therefore, it was normal for Qin Wan to selflessly bring them to the police station to reflect on themselves. Dan Hongning burst into tears when he saw Su Yin. Big brother Yin, you're finally back. Hurry up and plead with Officer Qin. We're all on the same side. If there's anything, can't we investigate it anywhere? She left us at the station for 2 days. At least let us go home and change into a new pair of underwear and socks. Besides, we're also victims. Compared to Dan Hongning's grumbling the moment they met, LV Feng reflected on himself more deeply. Brother Yin, this is all my fault. I know I was wrong. I was the one who instigated Xiaodan and Kong Zhong to do this with me. I just didn't want the fertile water to flow to an outsider. Lu Feng, I heard that the person in charge of this matter is Mayor Qin. Do you think that with our relationship with Mayor Qin, we can compete with the bidders from other cities? Su Yin said. It's such a simple thing. Why can't you figure it out? Brother Yin, of course I have thought about such a simple thing. After all, I am a man of society. I know this. Lu Feng shook his head helplessly. Alas, I don't want to talk about it. I have been in society for so many years, but I have never seen such an honest official like Mayor Qin. Su Yin was stunned. What do you mean? Dan Hongning sighed. Sigh, brother Yin, you won't believe me even if I tell you. The two of us brought money and gifts to the municipal party secretary Feng Guoqing's house. In the end, Feng Guoqing left the things and money behind, and told us that this project was proposed by Mayor Qin, and that we should look for Mayor Qin. It was useless to tell him about this. At that time, we thought that with our relationship with Mayor Qin, we would definitely have a 100% advantage. But we didn't know that Mayor Qin was so stubborn. After Feng Zi and I asked Officer Qin for Mayor Qin's address, we took 200,000 yuan and went there. In the end, Mayor Qin's expression changed when we brought it up. I thought it was because we didn't take the money first. In the end, when I asked Feng Zi to push the money in front of Mayor Qin, he immediately turned hostile and told us to take the money and leave. Hearing Dan Hongning's words, Su Yin understood what he meant. He raised his hand and hit the back of Dan Hongning's head. I say, have you two been kicked in the head by a donkey? Aren't you looking for trouble? Don't you know what kind of person Mayor Qin is? When Chang's house was being demolished, didn't Mayor Qin always think of the people? Do you think he's the same as that Feng guy? And it was Feng Guoqing who told you to look for Mayor Qin. Isn't it obvious that he wants you to set a trap for Mayor Qin? You are harming Mayor Qin. Brother Yin, what do you mean? What do you mean by harming Mayor Qin? We are sincerely giving him money. Dan Hongning didn't understand. Lu Feng was also a little anxious. Yes, Brother Yin, you are saying that we are colluding with Feng Guoqing to do something bad. I don't feel comfortable listening to it. We know that Mayor Qin is in charge of this, so we are very happy. We are happy to give money to Mayor Qin, unlike giving money to Feng Guoqing. It feels like we are feeding a dog. How can Feng Guoqing have good intentions? Su Yin knew that these two people didn't have bad intentions, so he said lightly, since he knows that you went to Mayor Qin, then he will definitely not miss this good opportunity. He will definitely use this matter to instruct the Discipline Inspection and Supervision Department to find trouble with Mayor Qin. If Mayor Qin takes your money, then Feng Guoqing will seize the opportunity to label him as a corrupt person. What does this label mean to them? You are all grown up, so you should know, right? Oh. Lu Feng and Dan Hongning suddenly understood. So that's why. Feng Guoqing, that bastard, is really vicious. Su Yin waved his hand. Forget it. Mayor Qin didn't take your money anyway. You can stay here and reflect on your actions. Brother Yin, you didn't come here to get us out? Dan Hongning's face was longer than a donkey's. Brother Yin, I beg you to say good things to Officer Qin. We have already said good things. It's really. Sigh. Su Yin shrugged helplessly. You know Qin Wan'er's bad temper. Do you think it's useful for me to say this? If she took me seriously, then she wouldn't have locked you up for 2 days. As soon as Su Yin finished speaking, Qin Wan'er broke in. Su Yin, who are you calling a bad temper? Okay, I just went to apply for their release. Since you said so, then I won't let them go. My dear aunt. Lu Feng was excited when he heard that he could finally get out. He had delayed a lot of things in the past 2 days. When he thought that he could get out, he felt comfortable. Dan Hongning flattered her even more. Officer Qin, you're really the most beautiful police officer I've ever seen in this world. And you're so kind-hearted and considerate. You know that we're also victims, so you helped us. I'm really grateful. Okay, stop talking nonsense. Go out and fill in the form. We will summon you at any time. You have to cooperate with our work at any time. Understand? Qin Wan'er shouted. Yes. The two nodded like chickens eating rice. Seeing that the two were busy filling in the release form, Su Yin smiled and said to Qin Wan'er, Thank you. What are you thanking me for? I am just a donkey, okay? Hurry up and leave with your men. Su Yin, I can tell you that I can understand their mistakes because you were not in Hudong. But today you are back, so I will tell you clearly. If they do this again, don't blame me for dealing with you. Qin Wan'er said very seriously. Also, don't involve my father in the matter of the land around the artificial river. Otherwise, I will really fall out with you. Su Yin was also very helpless. But it was Feng Guoqing who forced Uncle Qin to do this. Uncle Qin is already involved with the land around the artificial lake. As long as I intervene in this matter, I will definitely have contact with Uncle Qin. But don't worry, I promise you that I won't bring any trouble to Uncle Chin. And I'll even help him do it beautifully. Is that okay? I will not only not bring trouble to Uncle Chin, but also make the transformation of the artificial lake a great achievement for him in Hudong City. What do you think? I have said so you should be relieved, right? Qinwan really couldn't believe it. Now the artificial lake was really a problem in her eyes. Now it was because of the accident. However, after this incident passed, the city would definitely continue to use that land to attract investment. At that time, everyone would know that her father was the person in charge of this matter. She estimated that people would try their best to find connections and send gifts. When she thought of her father's temper, he would definitely offend a lot of people because he didn't accept bribes. Are you serious? Qinwan still had a certain amount of trust in Su Yun. Don't worry. Su Yun nodded. Okay, I will not bother you. I will leave first. Call Uncle Chin tonight, and tell him that I invited him to the hotel for a drink. Qinwan rolled her eyes at Su Yun. Government officials can't casually invite people to dinner after work. Now this problem is strictly investigated. Are you trying to harm my father? That's why I asked you to call him. It's not a problem to have dinner with your own family. Su Yun waved his hand and walked out of the room. At this time, Lu Feng and Dan Hongning had also finished filling out the forms and hurriedly said goodbye to Qinwan. Chang was waiting for them in the car outside. When he saw that the two of them were finally released, he was exultant. After being wronged in the police station for 2 days, the two brothers really decided to go home and have a good drink. After Su Yun got in the car, he looked at the time and felt that it was about time. With Wu Yuandong's speed, he and Ling Jiling should be almost back in Jibei City to meet Zhuo Meiyan. Therefore, Su Yun made a gesture to indicate that the three of them should not talk too much. Then he dialed Zhuo Meiyan's cell phone number. When the three of them saw that Brother Yun was calling, they did not dare to talk nonsense. They all shut up. Chang seriously drove Su Yun back to the hotel. Ling Jiling had just left the office when Zhuo Meiyan received a call from Su Yun. She knew that Su Yun had always been very careful with his calculation of time. Zhuo Meiyan did not hesitate and picked up the phone. Baby, why didn't you call me earlier if you were not coming back? Didn't you know that I would prepare your favorite red wine to welcome you back? There will be plenty of opportunities to drink wine in the future. I had some things to deal with, so I did not return to Jibei City. You didn't make things difficult for Sister Jiling, right? Su Yun asked and answered his own question. Forget it. With your personality, I guess you would have made things difficult for her. I didn't call you before because I was afraid that I would add fuel to the fire and make things even more difficult for her. You still know me well. Zhuo Meiyan smiled helplessly. All right, you win. You guessed it right. But don't worry. With Sister Fenging around, do you think I would go overboard? Don't worry about your sister Jiling. She has already gone to eat Heideleo with Sister Fenging. All right, all of you have company now. I'm the only one who's all alone. All of you are heartless. Su Yun smiled helplessly. I will definitely make it up to you. Isn't your brother with you? Chapter 315. As soon as Su Yun hung up the phone, Chang and the other two were in an uproar in the car. They all wondered who was on the other end of the phone. Calling him baby? Wasn't that a bit too ambiguous? Su Yun begged for mercy and glared at them, but he couldn't stop the three guys from making wild guesses. Originally, Lu Feng and Dan Hongning had finally been released from the police station. They wanted to drag Kong Zhong out of the hospital and have a drink with Su Yun at the Medicinal Cuisine Hotel. However, Su Yun refused. He wanted to invite Qin Zhongming to dinner in the afternoon. Qin Zhongming probably didn't want to see Lu Feng and the others at this time, so he didn't want them to disturb them. Besides, ever since Su Yun left Hudong City last time, he hadn't had a proper meal with Ruan Qingshuang and the others for many days. Tonight, he didn't want Chang and the others to join in. After all, their meal always had the theme of toasting. It was impossible for them to talk about their daily lives. After Chang drove to the hotel and dropped off Su Yun, he left with Lu Feng and Dan Hongning. Brother Yun wasn't in the mood to drink today, but they were. The three of them immediately drove straight to the hospital and dragged Kong Zhong out by force. During this period of time, the weather had turned cold. The medicinal cuisine hot pot that Ruan Qingshuang had been researching was now in the experimental stage under Liang Shan's practice. Dan Hongning had a special liking for this hot pot. His branch was the experimental base of the medicinal cuisine hot pot, so they had already thought about what to eat. They wanted to eat more nutritious food to nourish Kong Zhong, who was hospitalized. After Su Yin returned to the hotel, he found that the overall quality of the security guards had improved considerably. It seemed that Dan Jiahao was still very attentive to his words. This was worthy of praise. Who would have thought that this kid would actually have some standards when he didn't go to school and came out to mingle in society? As soon as he entered the hotel lobby, Su Yin heard the coquettish voices of Guogua, Ruan Qingshuang, and Chou Yun. Seeing that Su Yin had returned, Guogua immediately rushed into Su Yun's arms. She hadn't acted coquettishly with Su Yin for a long time. Guogua really missed it. "Daddy, do you know how to sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star?" Guogua raised her head and asked. It was probably because she had been watching too much of the celebrity parent-child travel and survival experience show on Mango TV. She had listened to the theme song many times, so she had picked it up. Su Yin had also watched the show a few times. He remembered that his father was about to answer, so he imitated him and said, "You sang out of tune." Guogua's face sank. She said with a frown, "I haven't sung yet. You said the wrong line. You should have answered no first. Then you can say that I'm out of tune after I sing." Ruan Qingshuang helplessly came over and carried Guogua. "Guogua, this is the hotel lobby. There are so many people here. You're already a big child. Do you think this is appropriate? This is not good." Guogua pouted and looked unhappy. "I also want to experience wilderness survival with Daddy." "Guogua, Daddy promises you. If there's a chance in the future, I'll definitely take you to experience what wilderness survival is, okay?" In order to make Guogua happy, Su Yin had to find a way to tease her. "Let's go to the Amazon rainforest. That's really fun." "Really?" Guogua stopped crying when she heard this. "Pinky promise." After Su Yin and Guogua did the pinky promise, he saw Chou Yun waving at him and asking him to go over. Then he handed Guogua to Ruan Qingshuang before walking towards Chou Yun. Chou Yun looked a little worried. "We've already left Suang for more than 10 hours. I'm worried that Green Ghost. If Green Ghost really comes, I'm afraid he'll be here when we wake up at noon." Su Yin was very confident in his judgment. "I'm afraid Green Ghost isn't thinking about us now. If I'm not wrong, he should have gone to ask someone for help." Hearing Su Yun's words, Chou Yun was even more worried. "You mean Green Ghost will go to the Netherworld King for help?" "It's possible." Su Yin nodded and said, "If the Netherworld King really helps him, I already have a way to lure them away. Don't worry about that. But I feel that it might be difficult for Green Ghost to get the Netherworld King's help. At most, he'll complain about me. I won't lose anything." Chou Yun was stunned for a long time before saying, "Aren't you afraid of being blacklisted by Leng Chen?" Su Yin nodded. "What's the use of being afraid? If I'm afraid of everything, I really can't offend anyone. If I have to endure anyone's anger, what's the point of life? Don't worry. Trust me, Green Ghost won't dare to attack us rashly now. He'll definitely consider the home and away issues, right? Suang is his home ground. Even I can give him a head-on blow. If he really comes to Hudong to find trouble with us, he'll have to consider how the 3 experts he sent died. Green Ghost has his concerns too. Otherwise, he would have done it long ago." Su Yin had considered all of this before. That was why he let Wu Yuandong rest here for the whole morning. Wu Yuandong also understood why Su Yin wanted him to rest. Even if he didn't sleep, Wu Yuandong could drive for a few more hours without a problem. It was because Su Yin considered that Green Ghost might chase after them that he let Wu Yuandong stay in Hudong City for a few hours. That way, even if Green Ghost came, with a super expert like Su Yin and Chou Yun and Wu Yuandong helping, it would be difficult for Green Ghost to gain an advantage. The whole morning was peaceful. At noon, Su Yin and Wu Yuandong were basically sure that Green Ghost wouldn't appear again. So Wu Yuandong said goodbye. "I understand." Chou Yun seemed to understand why Wu Yuandong slept in Hudong City for the whole morning. Then I also think that we should be careful. I understand. Suyin nodded. Well, since everyone is back safely, let's not talk about those disappointing things. Guogua may be a little emotional these days. A child suddenly has too much to bear. I didn't expect Xiao Nanshan to reveal so many secrets. These days, pay more attention to Guogua's mood. Instead of worrying about Green Ghost's revenge, I think we should be more concerned about Guogua. Chou Yan knew what Suyin meant. She didn't expect that a man could be more careful than her. Guogua got lost with her last time, and by some strange combination of circumstances, she found this amazing father. Was it really God's will? About half an hour later, Qin Wan came back from work. When she saw Suyin, she snapped her fingers. My dad is in a meeting. He will come over for dinner in a while. He said that he hasn't seen you for a long time and wants to see you. He wants you to drink with him. I knew Uncle Qin would want me to drink with him. Suyin grinned. Don't worry, no problem. I will definitely drink with Uncle Qin and make him forget all the troubles these days. Qin Weiner was puzzled. These days, when she called her father, he was in a bad mood. Even when she asked him to go out for dinner, he refused. Why did her father suddenly change when she mentioned Suyun's name? He didn't even use the meeting as an excuse and agreed to go out for dinner. Suyin, you're quite influential. My dad has been so busy recently that I couldn't even invite him. Now that you're back, he actually agreed so readily. I don't even know if you fed him some kind of bewitching potion. Qin Weiner rolled her eyes and said, Fine, fine. I don't care about you guys. But I have to remind you, don't mention the artificial river during dinner. That's what he's most annoyed about. I guess the city council will put pressure on him during the meeting today. If you want him to be happy tonight, don't mention it. Suyin nodded with a smile. He wouldn't bring it up, but he believed that Qin Zhongming would take the initiative to tell him. Usually, Qin Zhongming didn't want to talk about these troubles with Qin Wan, or because he knew that even if he told them, they would only be annoyed and helpless. However, it was different to talk to Suyin. Suyin was a man who could take responsibility. If he talked to Suyin about these things, he would get help from Suyin. Even if it was just a word of advice, it would make Qin Zhongming feel relieved. At this time, Wan Qingshuang came to them and said, Come here, you two. Go to the kitchen and have a look at the medicinal hot pot newly developed by Liangshan and me. It has been made in Xiaodan's branch for 3 days. The market feedback is good. I heard that there will be repeat customers on the 3rd day. We have to see it. Now the weather is starting to cool down. Maybe this medicinal hot pot will set off a new trend of eating in winter in Hudong. Suyin immediately nodded and praised. This idea was really good. Originally, winter was the season for hot pot, but now eating too much hot pot made one heaty. Moreover, some restaurants had adulterated the beef and mutton in order to save costs. Therefore, the reputation in the entire market was not very good. If medicinal hot pot focused on health, although it was still beef and mutton, with the addition of the medicinal formula, the effect would definitely not be bad. Then, with the selection of exquisite beef and mutton, the effect would definitely not be bad. Nowadays, people didn't lack money when they went out to eat. As long as the food was authentic, they could accept a higher price. If you ate real beef and mutton for 100 yuan, and a bunch of fake beef and mutton for 50 yuan, which would you choose? Of course, it would be the former. Su Yin and Qin Wan immediately went to the kitchen according to Wan Qingshuang's instructions. Qin Wan didn't know much about cooking, but some of Su Yun's suggestions were very effective. For example, the soup base. If they directly used the Chinese ginseng and dendrobium lean meat soup or grass stone silkworm quail soup as the base, they could totally make a special hot pot. At most, they just needed to add more ingredients and water to the hot pot. For Su Yun's super simple but brilliant suggestion, Liang Shan couldn't help but clap his hands and praise Brother Yun's brain. How about this? Let's make the grass stone silkworm quail soup as the base and try it tonight. Qin Wan's practical suggestion was immediately approved by everyone. They all wanted to taste what it would taste like. Chapter 316. Guogua looked at Qin Wan expectantly and said, Sister Wan, don't you have a friend in the TV station? Ask her to report on our medicinal hot pot. If it makes the headlines in Hudong City, it will definitely be very popular. Headlines my ass. Do you think you are Teacher Wang in the entertainment industry? You can't even make the headlines with an international stamp. Qin Wan was speechless and said, my friend has been transferred away, so don't expect her to help you make the headlines. You have to rely on yourself. Su Yun looked at Guogua with a helpless smile and said, let's not talk about the headlines. During this time, the artificial lake project will occupy the headlines in Hudong City. So if Guogua wants to make the headlines, wait until the project is over. Qin Wan stared at Su Yun and said, didn't I tell you not to talk about this? When my dad comes later, you can't let it slip. Do you understand? What can't slip? After Qin Wan finished lecturing Su Yun, Qin Zhongming came to the kitchen. After the meeting, he took a taxi to the Medicinal Hot Pot Hotel. When Dan Jiahao saw him, he quickly told him that Qin Wan and the others were in the kitchen. Qin Zhongming was not an outsider. After all, Qin Wan had shares from Guogua. So no one stopped him when he walked into the kitchen. Uncle Qin, you are here. Come on, let's go out first. The smell of smoke here is very strong. It is not suitable for you to come here. Ruan Qingshuang hurriedly asked everyone to leave. What's the big deal? This little bit of smoke is nothing. When I was young, I used to cook a big pot on a mud brick stove at home. The smoke was the real deal. Qin Zhongming said amiably, then looked at Su Yun. Su Yun smiled and said, Uncle Qin, what do you think about the medicinal hot pot today? Sister Shuang and our chef Liang Shan just developed it. Nodding his head, Qin Zhongming affirmed, the food that you guys recommend definitely can't be wrong. Ha ha ha, I often hear that many people are eating medicinal cuisine in the office. You guys have opened so many branches, and your business is so popular. There must be a reason why you guys are so delicious. Medicinal hot pot? Hee hee, it sounds like it's both nourishing and appetizing. Come on, Dad. If you praise us again, we'll fly into the sky. Qin Wan was speechless. In her father's eyes, everything Su Yun said was good, and everything he did was reasonable. Her father believed him too blindly. Guogua sensibly pulled Qin Zhongming out. Oh, you all call him uncle, so I can't call him that. Uncle Qin is so young. I can't call him grandpa, right? Uncle Qin, let's go out. You are the mayor. It's embarrassing for you to stay here. Let's go out. Hearing that Guogua was so good at chatting, everyone couldn't help but laugh. Obviously, Guogua always called people whatever she thought was appropriate. She didn't care about seniority. Otherwise, she wouldn't call Ruan Qingshuang mom and Qin Wan her sister. According to the way she called Qin Wan, it was not wrong to call Qin Zhongming uncle. However, Su Yun and Ruan Qingshuang, as their parents, had to call him uncle. After Ruan Qingshuang told Liang Shan, she urged everyone to leave the kitchen and go to the room to drink tea. There were no outsiders today. It was a welcome for Su Yun, and also for her and Guogua to calm down. Of course, they didn't mention anything about what happened to her, Guogua, and Cho Yun and Suang. When LV Winnie led the waiter to serve the medicinal hot pot made by Liang Shan, everyone couldn't help but exclaim. The delicious taste was amazing. It was really amazing. Su Yun immediately opened the lid and poured wine. Uncle Qin, it's cold. Do you want something high? Although this stuffy donkey has a high alcohol content, I think the taste is not bad. Qin Wan stared at him. Su Yun, what are you doing? This is 68% alcohol. My father is not like you young people. He will definitely get drunk if he drinks such a high alcohol content. Are you alright? If I'm okay, I'll eat some plum. Guogua continued. Su Yun didn't care about her nagging and filled her own cup to the brim. You haven't even gotten married and you haven't even given birth to a child. How can you be so naggy like an auntie? If you marry someone who drinks every day, you'll definitely become a grumbling wife within 3 months. I'm willing to be a grumbling wife. Qin Wan snorted. When Qin Zhongming heard that the wine had 68% alcohol content, he was a little confused. Su Yun, isn't the alcohol content too high? Then I'll say it first. I'll only have 1 cup. I won't drink any more. It can't be lowered to such a high alcohol content. We're eating as a family. There's no need to be so particular. Uncle Chin, drink as much as you can. Even if you can't drink it, it's okay to leave the rest. Su Yin smiled. I just feel that it's a waste to eat such a good hot pot without some high alcohol content. Just as everyone was chatting, LV Winnie's voice came from outside the room. I'm sorry. Our boss's family is eating inside. You can't disturb. Hey, how can you be like this? You can't go in. However, no matter how LV Winnie tried to stop them, the door was directly pushed open. Then there were flashes of light. Someone at the door took a lot of photos. This really made Su Yin and the others confused. Guogua opened her eyes wide and looked at the person with the camera. She thought to herself, are they really reporters who want to help us make the headlines? At this time, Dan Jiahao, who had heard the news, also came to the door. With his short temper, he wanted to order his subordinates to beat them. However, the person in front of him showed his work permit. We are from the Discipline Inspection Department. We received a report that Qin Zhongming, Mayor Qin, was holding a banquet with public funds. So, we came to investigate and collect evidence. If you don't cooperate with us, you are obstructing the government from enforcing the law. You will have to bear legal responsibility. This sentence blocked Dan Jiahao's anger. Why did he suddenly have to bear legal responsibility? Wasn't this a joke? If it was at the beginning, Dan Jiahao wouldn't care about the law. However, now that he had been educated to abide by the law, he finally became obedient. Ha 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 ha, this is too big of a misunderstanding. Su Yin smiled and stood up. Leaders of the Commission for Discipline Inspection, the relationship between us and Uncle Qin is not some kind of public banquet. Public banquets only exist within your government. We are not people from your public sector, so there is absolutely no public banquet. This banquet is on Uncle Qin. The leader of the group, a balding man who looked to be in his 40s, said, You can't do that, Qin Zhongming. You're a government official and the mayor of Hudong City. You're openly accepting a banquet outside. That's also a form of bribery. We received a report that someone wants to use your relationship to get the development project of Hudong City's artificial river. So, I am his daughter, and he is my father. I am treating my father to a meal. What's wrong with having a meal with our own family? Qinwan was a little anxious when she heard this. These people were really touching the pot that didn't boil. Obviously, someone was deliberately framing her father. No one could say for sure what was going on in the government. Maybe someone would play dirty tricks behind your back and stab you in the back. The leader of the group was stunned. You are not that. Qin Wan I am Qin Wan from the Criminal Investigation Department of the City Police. I used to work in the Wenhui District Police Station. Qin Wan words were sonorous and powerful. She didn't show any fear in front of the balding man. Qin Zhongming finally couldn't help but stand up. You are Xiao Qi from the Discipline Inspection Department, right? This is my daughter. I am just having a meal with my family after work. I'm afraid the Discipline Inspection Department can't do anything about it. Even if you don't say it, I can probably guess who reported me. For you to be able to appear on time, I'm afraid you were already prepared. Some things are like a layer of window paper. I won't break it. Everyone, let's just pretend that nothing happened today, okay? The balding man sneered. Thank you for your concern, Mayor Qin. You still remember my surname. That's right, I am Xiao Qi from the Discipline Inspection Department. But how would I know if this is a layer of window paper? You said you were having a meal with your family. I don't think anyone would believe you. Do father and daughter need to have a meal in such a big hotel? Mayor Qin, although I've only eaten a few meals outside, I've heard of this famous Hudong medicinal cuisine hotel. It's not cheap, right? And this room is too luxurious. Hee. Who would believe that this is a simple meal? I am sorry, sir. I am the boss here. Officer Qin is my friend, so she has a discount. Wan Qingshuang also stood up to help. Mayor Qin, you have a lot of face. Even the boss's wife came to accompany you. The balding man clapped his hands. Do you have anything else to say? If not, don't blame me for being blunt. It is obviously not a simple meal to come to such a prideful place. If you can't give a reasonable reason, don't blame us. Su Yun slammed the table. Are you done? The balding man was stunned. He stared at Qin Zhongming and said, Do you know who I am? I work for the Discipline Inspection Department. Then do you know who I am? Su Yun didn't want to hear him reveal his title. My name is Su Yun. I took this hotel from Lusheng. Don't tell me you don't know? The balding man was stunned. He finally saw the legendary Su Yun. Su Yun's story had been spread in Hudong City for a long time. Lusheng was a fierce dragon that could suppress 4 local bullies, but in the end, he couldn't withstand Su Yun's attack. Therefore, Su Yun's ability was like a myth to many people in Hudong City. Of course, the balding man had heard of him, but this was the first time he had seen him. You are Su Yun? The balding man asked angrily. Guogua suddenly stood on the table and rolled her eyes. Of course I am. Who would lie to you? Now that you know who I am, hurry up and get lost. If you disturb my Uncle Qin, I will teach you a lesson. Dan Jiahao, where are your people? Someone is causing trouble in the hotel. Why aren't you doing anything? Why did I hire you? Hearing that the little ancestor had given the order, Dan Jiahao and his subordinates rubbed their palms in anticipation. Chapter 317. Jiahao, take your men and go do what you need to do. I don't need you here. Although Su Yun wanted to give the balding man a good beating, if he were to hit a public servant in a public place, they wouldn't be able to justify it. Therefore, he didn't wish to blow up the matter. Guogua and Dan Jiahao were ignorant, but Su Yun wasn't an ignorant child. Dan Jiahao immediately replied, Yes, Brother Yin. After that, he turned around and ordered the security guards to leave. He would never disobey Su Yun's orders. The balding man no longer dared to have any doubts. Looking at this person's aura and style, just a casual sentence from him was enough to make those fierce-looking youths, who were about to attack them, obediently do what they were supposed to do. Other than the legendary Su Yun, who else could it be? Sir, tell me, what kind of reason do you need to believe that this is just a meal between family members? Su Yun was still polite. If you don't know how to answer, then sit down and have a drink with me. Think about it carefully. I'll give you whatever reason you want. Is that okay? If you're still not satisfied, then I want to hear your reason. At the end, Su Yun glared at the balding man. He wanted the balding man to choose between a sweet date and a big slap. The balding man's aura was no longer as arrogant as before. The people behind him were also frightened by Dan Jiahao's aura. They all lowered their heads and didn't dare to look at Su Yun. It's like this, Mr. Su. I also need to do my job. Someone reported me, so I can't not investigate. If I don't come, then it's my negligence. Mayor Qin also understands the work of our department, so he will definitely understand. If this is a misunderstanding, then I won't bother you anymore. The balding man didn't want to offend Su Yun over such a small matter. He was just an ordinary civil servant. He couldn't afford to offend such a big boss. Don't go. This is really not a misunderstanding. I know your work needs, but we have to give you a reason to go back and report. Su Yun said, Leader, you have to get a reason from me today. Even if you don't want it, you still have to, understand? In the face of Su Yun's aggression, the balding man could only smile helplessly. Then let me ask, Mayor Qin, is there something important going on in your family that requires you to come to such a big hotel for a meal? Didn't I say that Officer Qin is my friend? I'll give her a discount if she comes to my restaurant. It's cheaper than going to a small hotel. Is that okay? Ruan Qingxuang, such a gentle person, had a temper. A good family dinner was interrupted by this person. How could she not be angry? The balding man nodded. Yes. You're right. That's a misunderstanding. We have something important to do, so of course we have to find a better place to eat. Guogua put her hands on her waist and pointed at Su Yun. My son-in-law is treating old Tai to a meal. What's wrong with finding a better place? This is called a scene. Don't you understand? He wants to pursue Uncle Qin's daughter. If he wants to treat Uncle Qin to a meal, do you think it's appropriate for him to go to a noodle restaurant? Guogua's words stunned her own people. Ruan Qingxuang opened her mouth wide. She suspected that Guogua had taken the wrong medicine. Qin Wan'er also opened her eyes wide. She thought, what is this damn girl talking about? Su Yun and Qin Zhongming looked at each other and sighed in their hearts. The only one who was calm was Chou Yun. At this critical moment, Chou Yun understood Guogua's thoughts. Oh, the balding man clasped his hands together and apologized. I'm sorry. Mayor Qin, please don't be offended. I've disturbed you on such an important matter. I'm sorry. Please be magnanimous. I'll go and find the guy who reported you and ask him what he's thinking. Oh, I'm sorry that I messed up this matter. Mayor Qin, please forgive me. Qin Zhongming waved his hand. Since it's a misunderstanding, let's forget about it. Xiaoqi, the city has regulations now. We can't be extravagant and wasteful. You can't eat here. The balding man hurriedly said, I don't dare. Mayor Qin, please enjoy your meal. Mr. Su, please excuse me. Please enjoy your meal. I'll go back first. I'm sorry, he said as he left the room. Guogua spat. Like a slave. When the balding man left with the people from the Commission for Discipline Inspection, everyone's eyes fell on Guogua. Qin Wan'er was the first to speak. Guogua, what nonsense were you talking about? What kind of idea did you come up with this time? Where did you learn this from? A son-in-law inviting an old man to a banquet? Sister Wan'er, you have to thank me, okay? I did it for a reason. Guogua said seriously. She was like a little adult. Listen to my analysis. What was the balding man's expression when he knew who my dad was? He was scared. Obviously, he knew how influential my dad was in Hudong. Now that he knows my dad is dating you and might become Uncle Qin's son-in-law, do you think he'll dare to say bad things about Uncle Qin? Of course not. Because if he says bad things about Uncle Qin, he's afraid that my dad will bring people to kill him. Guogua's words left everyone speechless. Where did this little demon come from? Ordinary adults wouldn't be able to consider so many things. What do you think? Do you have the feeling that listening to Guogua's words is better than studying for 10 years? Guogua was proud of herself. Everyone said in unison, yes. Su Yun was really impressed. He was right to recognize this daughter. Her character and mind were like his since she was young. When she grew up, she would definitely be a devil that couldn't be provoked. After the people from the Commission for Discipline Inspection left, Guan Qingshuang began to invite everyone to eat. The medicinal hot pot made the whole room hot and fragrant. If they didn't start eating, Guogua's saliva would flow out. As everyone began to move their chopsticks, Su Yun and Qin Zhongming also began to savor this nourishing and appetizing medicinal hot pot. After half a glass of wine, Su Yun and Qin Zhongming began to chat. Qin Zhongming didn't feel embarrassed to say, Su Yun, you see, Uncle Qin hasn't stopped since I came to Hudong. Haha, even if I pay attention to everything, I can't prevent someone from stabbing me in the back. Last time, your friend gave me money for the man-made river project. You should have heard about it, right? I heard about it. Su Yun nodded and said, Uncle Qin, I have already scolded them for that. Please don't mind them. They used to be in the underworld, especially Lu Feng. He used to work in construction sites. He knew that if he wanted to win a project, he had to feed a lot of people, so he habitually gave you. He gave you something. He definitely didn't mean any harm. It was purely a conditioned reflex. Qin Zhongming smiled bitterly. I know. People nowadays have become habitual to doing things. They feel that if they don't give gifts, they can't raise their heads to bid. But this was a trap set by Feng Guoqing. If I had taken the money, I'm afraid I would have been taken away by the Commission for Discipline Inspection. Su Yun continued to nod and said, Yes. They have caused trouble for you. Su Yun, let me say something. It's not that I'm virtuous. It's just that I have never thought of using my power to gain any benefits. I don't need it. Qin Zhongming said righteously. I want to live my life righteously. After I die, I will have the face to see the ancestors of the Qin family. So I will never accept gifts or money from others. This is my principle. Uncle Qin, I admire people like you. If Huaxia had officials like you, then society would be peaceful. The lives of the people would be much better than now. Su Yun sighed with emotion. Qin Zhongming sighed. I'm in a very difficult situation now. The proposal for the construction of the artificial river was indeed put forward by me. But I didn't expect Feng Guoqing to beat me at my own game and put me in charge of this project, including the bidding and selection at the beginning. Not to mention that this has caused me to offend the people of the Construction and Planning Bureau, but at the same time, it has pushed me onto the path of being unrighteous. Su Yin understood this. Who didn't have connections in this day and age? There must be a lot of people who would use various connections to get this project from Qin Zhongming. Qin Zhongming wasn't that kind of person. So he must have offended a lot of colleagues because of his refusal. Once he started to refuse, he had to refuse until the end. Because if there was any trace of him in the process, Feng Guoqing would be able to catch it. In this way, Qin Zhongming almost offended half of his connections because of the artificial lake. Later, Qin Zhongming proposed the idea of a provincial public bidding. He thought that this matter would be over, but he didn't expect to cause such a big trouble halfway. Lu Feng actually played tricks to stop companies from bidding from other cities. If this little trick had been played quietly, it would have been fine. In the end, he provoked a big problem. Lu Feng brought people with guns and killed 2 people on the ground of Hudong City. This death was particularly troublesome. Although the cause of death of the 2 people was not gunshot, but a car crash, it was enough to cause Qin Zhongming a lot of trouble. Now that the artificial lake incident had passed a few days ago, Qin Zhongming originally thought that the city would put an end to it. But he didn't expect Feng Guoqing to bring up this matter again at today's meeting. Feng Guoqing even took the lead to encourage him to continue to be responsible for this matter to the end. Everyone could see that Feng Guoqing was obviously trying to defame Qin Zhongming. But after all, Feng Guoqing was the secretary. Who dared to disobey his words? Qin Zhongming had no choice but to grit his teeth and accept it. But he was really at a loss as to what to do next. Chapter 318. Su Yin raised his glass and said, Uncle Qin, do you want to hear my advice? If you believe me, let's drink this glass of wine, and I will tell you my opinion. It is said that the onlooker sees more clearly than the person involved. What do you think? Qin Zhongming had been waiting for Su Yin to say this. Seeing that Su Yin had said so, he also raised his glass and said, Come on, let's drink. I really need you to give me some pointers. I'm lost. I'm old, and I'm really confused. The 2 of them raised their glasses. There was about 6 or 7 coins in the glass. They drank it directly. After drinking it, they smacked their lips because of the spiciness, but their stomachs were warm. Huaxia people couldn't talk about anything without drinking. This habit had really become an unchanging rule throughout the ages. Qin Wan hurriedly got up and scooped up the mutton and vegetables in the pot for the 2 of them. She complained and muttered, Okay, Su Yin, don't let my father drink so much. What can't he drink? Isn't the Confucius family's wine good? Why must he drink so much? I think you are a big stupid donkey. Hey, Uncle Qin, listen, how can Qin Wan talk like that? What did I do to become a stupid donkey? Su Yin grinned and said, We drink the wine of our province every day. What's wrong with changing the style? How can it be stupid to taste the wine of other provinces for a change? Qin Zhongming pretended to be angry and said to Qin Wan, Wan, what you said just now was really too much. Quickly pour a glass of wine for Su Yin and apologize. Qin Wan stared at him and said, I apologize to him? I am already giving him face by not cutting him. Why should I apologize to him? Dad, are you kidding? Who asked him to drink such a high alcohol content? Isn't the 38% wine good? This is 68% wine. None of you should drink anymore. Su Yin ignored her. This was a 750 milliliters bottle of smothered donkey, which was half a liter. The 2 of them had drunk 650 milliliters, and they hadn't even drunk half a bottle. Of course, Su Yin wouldn't stop. Come on, Uncle Qin, I don't expect her to pour wine for me. I'll pour wine for you. Let's drink and not waste time with her. We Huaxia people are particular about drinking in pairs. Come. Qin Wan still wanted to get angry, but Ruan Qingshuang pulled her and motioned her to sit down. Just let them drink. Don't stop them. Uncle Qin and Su Yin are not the kind of people who lose control after drinking. It doesn't matter if they drink. Okay, I'll take this glass. Sister Frost, the alcohol content is too high. I'm afraid my dad can't handle it. It was not that Qin wanted or did not want her father to drink. She was just like many other children. She was worried about her father's health. Wan Qingshuang nodded. I know. I'll keep an eye on them for you. Su Yin continued to provoke Qin Wan. Did you hear that? Did you see that? Learn from Sister Frost. I'm not trying to provoke you, but if you can be half as virtuous as Sister Frost, you won't have a problem getting married. Qin Wan was so angry that she rolled her eyes and ignored him. Qin Zhongming looked at the young people bickering. Although he didn't say anything, he was very happy in his heart. It was said that between young people, fighting was affection. If they didn't fight and scold, they wouldn't love each other. Uncle Qin, listen to me. I'll tell you about your current situation. Tell me if this is the case. Su Yin said seriously. Originally, the artificial lake project you proposed was a good thing. It could improve the development of tourism in Hudong City. To put it bluntly, it could attract some tourists to stay in Hudong City for a few more days. This could drive the economic development of the whole city's food, accommodation, and all kinds of consumables. Qin Zhongming nodded. Su Yin, you know me best. When I first proposed this project, the city actually suspected that I was making a fuss. Sigh, it would be great if someone like you could be used by the country. Nowadays, the ability of the country's civil servants is really lower than the average level of society. Too many people are afraid that they won't be able to survive in this survival of the fittest society, so they take on this iron rice bowl job. Sigh, this is the country and society's failure. How many people like you who are really capable are not used by the country? What a pity. Su Yin blushed at Qin Zhongming's flattery. Uncle Qin, you're being too serious. I was just saying it casually. Feng Guoqing didn't admit that the artificial lake project was good at first, because he was afraid that you would do something and steal his limelight. It's not that people can't see the advantages of this project. You're right. Indeed, Feng Guoqing keeps a close eye on everything I do. Qin Zhongming was full of praise for Su Yin's observation skills. Su Yin continued, but later, he admitted that it was a good project and let you be in charge of it. Uncle Qin, Feng Guoqing wants to take advantage of the fact that you're new to Hudong City and don't have many connections here to give you this fat meat. This way, many people will consider that you don't have any connections here, and they'll be shameless enough to recommend their connections to you. If you refuse, you'll offend them. That's why you're in a deadlock of being betrayed by everyone. These words made sense. Qin Zhongming was truly moved by the fact that the onlooker had a clear view of the situation. Up until now, he still couldn't understand why Feng Guoqing would give him such a lucrative job. One had to know that this was an opportunity that many people dreamed of. Also, if you accept any bribes, Feng Guoqing will not hesitate to send someone to report you to the Commission for Discipline Inspection. Su Yun smiled and continued. So in this matter, Feng Guoqing is a double-edged sword. No matter which side you take, he will be able to hurt you. If you accept bribes, he'll have something on you. If you don't accept bribes, you'll offend all the people around you. No matter which choice you make, it'll only be beneficial to him. Qin Zhongming nodded. That was indeed the case. No matter what, he had been ruthlessly checkmated in this game of chess. In order to save the people around you, you announced the provincial bidding. This is your last resort. Su Yin guessed correctly, and then he sighed. However, we didn't expect that Lu Feng would cause such a big mess. He made the decision without permission, and actually wanted to use the advantage of being a local bully to intimidate the bidders from outside the city. In the end, it caused such a big mess and gave you even more trouble. Seeing that Su Yin was a little embarrassed, Qin Zhongming patted Su Yin's shoulder. Haha, Su Yin, you're not to blame for this. You can't blame Lu Feng and the others. They thought it through. Actually, I understand. If I gave the project to Lu Feng, I would be relieved. Because of my relationship with you, I believe that Lu Feng won't cut corners. But I have to make the bidding public. This is not to prove how honest I am, but to show Feng Guoqing. Su Yin nodded. Uncle Qin, I understand what you said. So I know even more clearly that this job can't be given to Lu Feng and the others. Once it's given to them, Feng Guoqing will definitely find some clues and frame you for abusing your power. Qin Wan'er couldn't listen to it anymore. She didn't expect that the government compound where her father worked would be so full of intrigue. Dad, since Feng Guoqing doesn't like you, you should write a letter to apply for a transfer. Why do you have to lower yourself to his level? It's not that I haven't thought about leaving, but if I leave, I'll be running away. In the political struggle, once you start running away, it means that you've lost forever. Qin Zhongming was very serious when he said this. Su Yin raised his wine glass and toasted Qin Zhongming. Uncle Qin, we can't run away from this, and we can't lose. Feng Guoqing has the mentality that you can't do this project well, so he dares to let you be in charge of this project, and then wait to see you make a fool of yourself. Then you have to do a beautiful job of transforming this artificial lake. That would be equivalent to slapping Feng Guoqing's face with a loud and clear slap. Qin Zhongming smiled bitterly and sipped his wine. I also want to finish this project beautifully, but I really don't have the strength to do it. Because of the problem with the bidding of the artificial lake, no one in Hudong City dares to mess with it. They all think it's a piece of fatty meat soaked in poison. Although the fatty meat is fragrant, no one wants to take a bite and lose their life. Since we are bidding in the province, there are many companies in other cities that can do this project. Such a piece of fatty meat, there will be people who want to eat it, Su Yin said affirmatively. Yes, there will definitely be people who want to eat such a piece of fatty meat. You know, our condition is to directly give away more than 900 mu of land around the artificial lake. Qin Zhongming sighed. This is not a small temptation for any company. Otherwise, no one would bring a gun to fight with Lu Feng. Since ancient times, there is a saying that a strong dragon cannot suppress a snake in its old haunts. And this kind of person who can suppress a snake in its old haunts is not an ordinary strong dragon. Su Yin knew Qin Zhongming's worry. You are afraid that provoking this kind of person will bring unnecessary trouble to Hudong City? Qin Zhongming nodded his head. That's right, if another bidding is announced, then this person who can bring people to take down Lu Feng, and the others will definitely come to compete again. Once he takes down this project, if Lu Feng finds out. Hee Su Yin, even if you have a good temper, can you tolerate a group of people who bullied your brother and openly engage in construction under your nose? Of course not, Su Yin said bluntly. I will definitely destroy him. Qin Zhongming sighed. This is what I am worried about. I am worried that in the end, the people who have the ability to win this project are really those who are not afraid of Lu Feng. By then, it will be too late. This project will not be a good one, and it will cause a bloody storm in Hudong City. By then, I will really become the sinner of Hudong City. Because I can't control it, I am worried that what happens in the end will be something I cannot bear. Chapter 319. Looking at Su Yin, who was full of confidence, Qin Zhongming admired and liked him. He picked up his glass again and said, Su Yin, drink with Uncle Qin. I'm afraid my heart can't take it. Su Yin smiled and picked up his glass. Uncle Qin, I'll drink half a glass. Help yourself. After saying that, Su Yin drank half a glass. It was really good to drink at this height. It definitely made his stomach burn. It felt as if there was a fire in his stomach. Even if it was snowing heavily outside, Su Yin would not feel cold if he went out naked. This was what made people happy. Uncle Qin, have you heard of the Tang Group in Jibei? Su Yin smiled slightly. When he mentioned the Tang Group, Wan Qingshuang and Chou Yun stopped eating. Qin Wan'er reacted for a while before she realized. Guoguo was also excited when she heard that. I know. It's Sister Xiaojio's company. Qin Zhongming looked at the others' expressions and guessed that Su Yin had something to do with the Tang Group. Of course I know this. The Tang Group is one of the large construction companies in Jiangbei province. It has been established for 20 or 30 years. It is one of the top 100 private enterprises in Jiangbei province. Now it seems to be developing more comprehensively. It is not only in construction. Su Yin nodded. Yes, the Tang Group should be a very large company in Jiangbei province. Lu Feng and the others can't compare with it. The Tang Group has the special grade qualification for the general contracting of housing construction projects, the first grade for the general contracting of highway construction projects, the first grade for the general contracting of municipal public works, the first grade for the general contracting of mechanical and electrical installation projects, the first grade for the professional contracting of building decoration projects, the first grade for the professional contracting of fire protection projects, the first grade for the professional contracting of auxiliary lifting scaffolding projects, the first grade for the professional contracting of mechanical and electrical installation projects, and the first grade for the professional contracting of highway roadbed projects. It is one of the few construction companies in Jiangbei Province that has obtained the special grade qualification for the general contracting of housing construction projects, the highest qualification for the main projects, and the most qualification for the additional projects. It is very powerful. There's nothing to say about that. Qin Zhongming nodded and sighed. Just this pile of first-class qualifications is enough to leave many companies in the dust, not to mention the special grade qualification for general contracting of housing construction projects. That requires a registered capital of more than 300 million yuan, an average settlement income of more than 1.5 billion yuan in the past 3 years, a manager who has at least 10 years of experience in project management or a senior title, a chief engineer who has at least 10 years of experience in construction technology management, and a senior title, a chief accountant who has at least a senior title, and a chief economist who has at least a senior title. Just the thought of being able to be rated as a special grade was enough to make people feel terrified. Sister Xiaojiu's family is so powerful? Guogua opened her mouth wide in surprise. Dad, why haven't I heard you mention it before? I didn't know either. If I hadn't chatted with Tang Jiu's father, I wouldn't have known what the Tang Group does. Construction is the main business of the Tang Group. They are also involved in financial investments, paper manufacturing, rubber manufacturing, auto parts manufacturing, and recently, they even bought a pipe manufacturing factory. So, the scale of the Tang Group is not small. Su Yin shrugged. Qin Waner nodded and said thoughtfully, "It is definitely not an ordinary family. Otherwise, they wouldn't be so generous as to give away such a hotel." Guogua nodded. That's right. No wonder Sister Xiaojiu's family wants to divide her family's property. So that's why. Dad, I think you should follow Sister Xiaojiu. She has so much property. She is not someone who anyone can get close to. Sister Xiaojiu has taken the initiative and has so much property. If she marries you, can I be your agent? This little money grubber. Su Yin was really speechless. Money was really omnipotent. Guogua, children shouldn't interrupt when adults are talking. Wan Qingshuang scooped up a lot of mutton and vegetables for Guogua. Be a good girl and eat. She didn't understand what Su Yin and Qin Zhongming were talking about. So, she was worried that Guogua would interrupt them. With meat to eat, Guogua was much more obedient. This little devil was a wolf in her previous life. Su Yin, I don't think the Tang Group will be interested in the construction of our small city. Qin Zhongming voiced his concerns. If a company with special qualifications were to bid, of course, they would have an absolute advantage. But Hudong City is a small city after all. It's difficult to attract a large-scale construction company like the Tang Group. Su Yin shook his head. That won't happen. Hudong City has enough reasons to attract the Tang Corporation to invest here. Qin Zhongming smiled. Is it because of you? I don't have that much influence. It's because of Hudong City's unique living environment. Su Yin smiled. Uncle Qin, if I told you that the former chairman of the Tang Group, Tang Jingtian, is living in seclusion in Hudong City, would you believe me? Qin Zhongming's mouth was wide open. Tang Jingtian was a well-known figure in Jiangbei Province. He had been on the cover of the Jiangbei Economic Weekly. Qin Zhongming had naturally heard of him. You mean Tang Jingtian is in Hudong City? That's impossible. Su Yin, you know Tang Jingtian is very busy as the chairman of the Tang Group. How could he have time to waste in Hudong City? Su Yin shook his head. Uncle Qin, you didn't hear me clearly. I said the former chairman of the Tang Group, Tang Jingtian. The former chairman. Qin Zhongming frowned. It couldn't be. The day before he was transferred from Jinan City to Hudong City, he had seen Tang Zhengtian give an interview to the Economic Times. He said that the Tang Group would successfully transform before the construction industry reached saturation. Now the Tang Group already owned 4 major industries. One was economic investment, one was auto parts, one was paper, and one was rubber. Qin Zhongming remembered clearly that Tang Zhengtian had said that he could work for the Tang Group for another 10 years. It was his dream to make the Tang Group one of the top 5 taxpayers in Jiangbei province. Why did Qin Zhongming remember it so clearly? It was because Qin Zhongming was also worried about the economic development of Jinan City. He imagined that the Tang Group could make some investments in Jinan City that would solve the economic and tax problems of Jinan City. How did Tang Zhengtian become the former chairman all of a sudden? Could it be that something had happened to the Tang Group? Su Yin, quickly tell me what's going on. Qin Zhongming didn't understand, so he was particularly anxious. Did something big happen to the Tang Group? Su Yin nodded. It's a big change. Tang Zhengtian abdicated and handed the entire Tang Group to his 22-year-old daughter, Tang Jiu. This news was really shocking. How could such a large corporation be handed over to a 22-year-old girl, just like that? Qin Zhongming really couldn't believe this answer. People in this society were so sinister. Tang Zhengtian abdicated. Wasn't he afraid that the people around him would fight for power with his daughter? Qin Zhongming shook his head. Su Yin, to be honest, I really can't believe this news. Tang Zhengtian has been in society for so long. It's impossible that he doesn't know how sinister people are. Even if he wants to train his daughter, he wouldn't hand over the company to his daughter and then retire to Hudong City. This doesn't make sense. Isn't he worried that the architecture empire he created will be divided by the people around him in his daughter's hands? Guogua, who had finished the mutton in her bowl, couldn't help but speak again. Someone wanted to divide Sister Xiaojiu's things, but my dad went. With my dad helping Sister Xiaojiu and Jibei, no one dared to touch Sister Xiaojiu's Tang family. That's why Uncle Tang dared to retire to Hudong City. Uncle Qin, Uncle Tang is really in Hudong City. Tong Yin wouldn't tell such a lie. It wasn't that Qin Zhongming didn't believe Su Yun, but he really felt that this matter was too shocking. However, what Tong Yin said shocked him even more. Tang Group wasn't in a mess because of Su Yun's help? No matter how he heard it, it sounded like a fantasy story. It's not as exaggerated as Guogua said. I just did what I could. Su Yun was very modest. That's why I have a good relationship with Tang Jiu and Tang Zhengtian. If I let Tang Group do some development here, I think they won't refuse. Qin Zhongming still couldn't believe it. Are you serious? You're not joking with me, right? Of course not, Uncle Qin. And this is killing 2 birds with 1 stone for all of us. Tang Jiu has just taken over the company and urgently needs a good project to prove that she has the ability to sit in that position. I'm doing her a favor. Su Yun smiled. Of course, Uncle Qin. I'm not letting you in through the back door. This is a proper bid. I believe Tang Group has the ability. Qin Zhongming nodded. This ability was really great. Come, Su Yun. Let's have another toast. Qin Zhongming really enjoyed drinking with Su Yun. It was relaxing to drink, and Su Yun could help him solve his problems. He really felt that God was kind to him. Although he was transferred to Hudong City because of the political struggle, he was able to meet such a capable person. It was definitely worth it. Let's have another toast? Su Yun wasn't afraid. He still had a third of his glass, but Qin Zhongming still had half. Uncle Qin, how about this? I'll drink, and you can do whatever you want. Qin Zhongming drank happily and was in a good mood. Of course he didn't want to. No, let's have another toast. After that, we'll share the rest. There's only 1 bottle. I won't drink anymore. Qin Zhongming took the lead and drank half of the wine. Qin Weiner had a headache. Dad, I can't let you drink like this. Su Yin, be careful. Qin Zhongming didn't know if it was because he was happy or because he drank too fast, but he said to his daughter, Weiner, how can you talk to your dad's brother like this? I have to be polite. You can't be like this. Hurry up and pour Su Yin some more. I still have something to say to my brother. Chapter 320. After downing the entire bottle, Su-yin and Qin Zhongming were both in a good mood. One of them was relieved that they had safely returned to Hudong City, while the other was excited that Su-yin had come back and solved his biggest problem. In the end, the two of them drank 6 bottles of beer each before the meal was over. Guoguo was already sleepy. The next day was Monday, and she didn't have time to waste. Seeing that the meal was finally over, she asked Ruan Qingshuang to go upstairs to sleep. Ruan Qingshuang said that this child was sensible. She knew that when Qin Zhongming and Su-yin hadn't finished drinking, she didn't want to leave. So, she insisted until now that she was sleepy. Qin Zhongming didn't want to stay there, and insisted on taking a taxi. Su-yin and Qin Wan'er were also worried. In the end, they arranged for Dan Jiahao to drive him home. Dan Jiahao was also happy to do that. A few days after the hotel paid for the Buick MPV, his driver's license would be issued. Now he was itching to drive. Seeing Dan Jiahao drive away, Qin Wan'er couldn't help but doubt his driving skills. Su-yin was very relaxed. He wasn't worried about Dan Jiahao's driving skills at all. When he saw that this kid was so skilled at starting the car, he knew that he had done a lot of driving without a license. Although the MPV was big, it was an automatic after all. It was like a big toy when he drove. After seeing Qin Zhongming leave, Su-yin and Qin Wan'er went back to the top floor of the hotel. Ruan Qingshuang had already taken Guoguo back to her room to coax her to sleep. Chou Yun went out without saying goodbye. Su-yin knew that she was worried, so he let her be. Come to my room. Su-yin said bluntly. I have something to discuss with you. What can't you say here? It's the middle of the night, and you're drunk. How can a girl like me believe you? Qin Wan'er rolled her eyes and snorted. Don't expect me to serve you when you're drunk. Su-yin was speechless. How can I drink this much wine? Why don't you use your pig brain? Su-yin said as he opened the door and walked into his room. Qin Wan'er stepped in and glared at him. Who are you calling a pig brain? If you have something to say it quickly. I'm sleepy. I'm going to take a bath and sleep. I don't have time to waste with you. I just want to ask you for a favor. If someone calls the police because of me in a few days, I want you to help me stop it. Su-yin went straight to the point. I don't think you can guess how much trouble Uncle Qin's project will cause. So, I want to tell you in advance that when the time comes, there will definitely be a lot of scoundrels looking for trouble here. Firstly, I want to help your father solve the problem, and secondly, I want to help my brother get back his face. How about it? My request isn't too much, right? Qin Wan'er was surprisingly calm. After a while she said, You mean if they call the police, you will inform me and ask me to help you stop the person in charge of the police station? Su-yin nodded. How about it? It's not difficult. With your ability, it should be a small matter. It's not a small matter. It's an obstruction of official business. Qin Wan'er said bluntly. Their dispatch is arranged by the police station. They need to make a return receipt report to the police station. This is the rule. If they are arranged to dispatch, but they don't go then. Su-yin grinned. Qin Wan'er rules are dead, but people are alive. Their return receipt report can be written like this. They can say that they were dispatched and went to the target area, but they didn't see anything. Then the person who called the police must have nothing better to do. He called the police to trick people. Qin Wan'er was so shocked by Su-yin's idea that her mouth was wide open. What was this? She really couldn't tell. Su-yin looked so kind, but he was full of evil ideas. Wasn't this evil idea too much? In the end, Qin Wan'er was convinced by Su-yin and agreed to Su-yin's request. Su-yin's worries were not superfluous. Once the bidding for the artificial river began, the people who had attacked Lu Feng and the others would definitely appear. Su-yin did not plan to let Lu Feng and the others take this job because he felt that Lu Feng and the others did not have the ability to do such a big project. This project could be said to be very simple, but it could also be said to be very complicated. It was not as simple as building some houses near the artificial river. It was to create a commercial area on both sides of the Yen River that could retain tourists. Therefore, its functions and design had to be very powerful. Based on this point, Su Yin knew that Lu Feng and the others could not do it. That was why he thought of the Tang Group. After all, the Tang Group started its business in construction, and its qualification was one of the best in Jiangbei province. Since they were going to do this project, they had to do their best. This was Su Yun's motto. If it was a small project, it was not a big deal to let Lu Feng do it, as long as the quality was good. However, it involved design and planning. Su Yun really did not look down on them. I heard from Sister Jiling that you two went to Shuang to shoot an advertisement. Su Yun, why didn't you tell us that you had such a relationship with the Sky Entertainment Group? Qin Wan'er did not choose to leave after Su Yun finished the previous topic. Instead, she threw a question that made Su Yun's head hurt. Su Yun stuttered for a long time, but couldn't come up with a clear explanation. After all, this wasn't something that could be explained in a few sentences. It even involved his background. How could he explain something that even he couldn't figure out? If you don't want to say it, then don't say it. I won't force you. However, you stayed in Shuang for so many days. Did you think about bringing me a gift? Qin Wan'er raised her eyebrows. What Jiku red plum tea, Westlake Longjing tea, and so on. More or less, right? I really didn't have time to go shopping, so. Su Yin was also quite embarrassed. He went out for half a day and did not bring back any specialties. Qin Wan'er rolled her eyes. No time? Are you that busy? Sister Jiling is such a big shot, but she still has time to go shopping. She even gave me a Westlake silk umbrella. She said that it was a souvenir that she bought in Shuang. You don't have time to go shopping? Su Yin was very embarrassed. Of course, Ling Jiling had time. When he started to investigate Green Ghost's situation, Ling Jiling had time to buy these little specialties. From beginning to end, he did not even have a good night's sleep in Shuang. He really did not have the heart to bring back souvenirs. I really didn't. Although Su Yin knew that this answer was too forced, he really had no other choice. I don't believe it. Qin Wan'er glanced at the backpack beside Su Yun's bed. Then what's in this backpack? You probably carried it back from Shuang. Su Yin nodded. It's just some toiletries. There's really nothing in it. At this point, Su Yun's expression suddenly changed. He seemed to have thought of something and stared at the backpack. F***ck, how could he forget such an important thing? Seeing Su Yun's expression change, Qin Wan'er snorted. I knew you must have brought a souvenir. You didn't think of me, right? Fine, Su Yun. I knew you wouldn't think of me when you have something good. You only think of me when you need my help. Su Yun did not know how to explain. It's really not a souvenir. Souvenirs from all over the country look the same. You can go to the Great Wall and Sanya, and buy the same coconut shell handicrafts. Don't explain. I don't want it. Just let me see what it is. Qin Wan'er said as she walked over to take the backpack. Are you bringing it for Sister Qing Shuang or Tangjiu? I can definitely guess when I see it. Su Yin quickly went forward to stop her. There's really nothing in it. However, he was still one step too late. Qin Wan'er hugged the backpack. The more Su Yin did not let her see, the more curious she was about what treasure was inside. If it could make Su Yin so nervous, it was definitely not something simple. Su Yin was embarrassed. There was a Western proverb that said curiosity killed the cat. Now Qin Wan'er's curiosity had embarrassed him. When Qin Wan'er opened the bag, she didn't seem to understand what it meant. It was full of women's underwear. At that time, Qin Wan'er was dumbfounded. It was just like the underwear thief she had caught in a certain neighborhood. That guy only had women's underwear in his backpack. At that time, Qin Wan'er was dumbfounded. It was the same now. Qin Wan'er was still dumbfounded. However, Su Yin was not a thief. Qin Wan'er seemed to understand very quickly. She nodded as if she suddenly understood. Her face revealed a faint smile. Su Yin, you're really something. I heard from Sister Jiling that you were going to shoot an underwear commercial. It seems like you brought it back on the way. It's Wilson's. It's very expensive, right? Is it because you don't have to pay for it? Su Yin stood in the corner with black lines on his head. He felt like he had added a vertical line and a circle on a test paper with a 0. He had changed into a child who got 100 points. He was waiting for his parents to find out and beat him up. Why didn't you call us and ask for our opinion before you took it? Chin Wanner muttered to herself. She took out underwear one by one from the backpack. Wow, no way. You actually took so much. Even if you don't want money, you don't have to do this. Soo-Yun could not bear it and said, Wanner, have you heard of the saying, the greater the hope, the greater the disappointment? What do you mean? Chin Wanner was stunned. Then she pointed at all the underwear and said, Don't tell me you didn't think of me? Hey Soo-Yun, what do you mean? Am I not a woman in your eyes? Soo-Yun said angrily, I want to give these to a man, not to you. Also, these are the clothes that Sister Jiling wore when she was shooting. They are not new. Chin Wanner's mouth was wide open. Giving Ling Jiling's clothes to a man, she could only think of one word. Pervert. You can say whatever you want. Soo-Yun smiled bitterly. I promise, if I go anywhere in the future, I will definitely think of bringing you gifts. I promise. That you're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.